Good morning, guys. I hope I'm audible to everyone. All right. Before we proceed with the event, I'd like to just brief you all about the rules. I hope everyone are present here. So I'll just proceed with telling you guys about the rules. So each team will be given 6 minutes, and you'll be given 2 minutes for rebuttal. And sorry, just a minute. Yeah. So each team will be given 6 minutes, and you'll be given 2 minutes for rebuttal. And the delegates from the farmers' side will be going first, followed by the corporate side, and then the farmers must begin with rebutting first, and then comes the corporate who will be rebutting. Your videos must be on the whole time during your time to present, and your mics must be turned off unless you are speaking. And if you are from the same team and each of you want to speak, and you need to use the raise hand button, and the moderator will call out your names, and you will need to speak then. And yeah, you can stay in the meeting throughout the event, and if you'd like to stay in the meeting after you're done with your presentations, you may stay there. However, you have to turn off your mics and your videos. Thank you. If you have any further questions, you may ask.
Hello.
Yes, tell me.
We are for same team and a same classmate, so can we get connected through a single mobile?
Yes. You can. No problem.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I hope all the rules are clear. The first team who's going to start, T6 and T16, please be ready. We will be starting soon. So everyone stay in the meeting itself. If any doubt is there, just ask it here.
Good morning, ma'am. Very good morning to one and all present here, and happy Republic Day. My name is Pratyusha Harish, and on behalf of the Entrepreneurship Cell at St. Joseph College of Law, I warmly welcome all of you to the event, The Hunt for Middle Ground. And I sincerely hope that this will be a really nice learning experience to all of you. And we hope that by the end of the event, everyone realizes the true seriousness and implications, the positives or the negatives of the farm laws proposed in our country. So, for today's event, we have two prominent judges. Sorry, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. So we have Mr. Gio Vargas from St. Joseph College of Law. Ms. Kritika R is a legal researcher who works on issues of constitutional law, digital rights, and civil citizenship. She's working as an associate at the Center of Law and Policy Research, Bangalore. Welcome, ma'am. GOC Vargas is an assistant professor at St. Joseph College of Law, Bengaluru. He was formerly associated with the Public System Group of Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad, as an academic associate. An engineer by training, he holds a Masters of Public Policy from the National Law School of India, University, Bengaluru. We welcome you, ma'am and sir. So, without any further ado, I hand it over to Mr. Rishabh, who will be taking over the rest of the moderation.
I request, apart from round one, everyone please leave the group or leave the call. You guys stay online on the WhatsApp group. I'll let you know when to join. And apart from team one, please leave the group. My apologies. I meant to say round one. So round one, we have team number 6 and team number 16. So may I know, are they here or not?
Team 16 is also here.
Yeah, we'll start in just a minute.
Hi, could you repeat the names of the teams just for me to make sure that I evaluate them correctly?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, in round one, we have team number 6 and team number 16.
Okay, team 6 and team 1-6.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Team 6, you will begin this round. You'll be representing the farmer side. I'll make a call when 4 minutes are up, and then finally when 6 minutes are up. After that, team 16 will start. The same pattern will follow, 4 minutes, then followed by and the end of 6 minutes, and then after that, you will have 2 minutes of rebuttal time. Team 6, I'll request you to come on video.
Team 6 here.
1 second. Team 6, your time starts now.
A very good morning to one and all. My name is Shraddha Halapnavar and this is my co-speaker Ananya Nada Joshi. And today we are going to be talking about the negative impacts of the farm bills over the farmers.
Decades ago, when the farmers then were also suffering from the debt crisis, lack of access to market was identified as a key issue leading to the exploitation of farmers. as their perishable products did not find the buyer.
Farming in India is fragmented, and it is seen that 85% of the farmers in India hold less than 1 hectare of land. So, as to resolve this issue, the government came up with certain model acts and laws, and over the time, they were accepted by the states and APMCs were established.
These APMC mandis bring unorganized and fragmented farmers together who can sell the produce to the aggregation of traders who are interested in bulk buying. Price is decided by the auction and with MSPs, ensuring to cover towards the cost incurred by the farmers, get a fair price, and at least the overall cost price is covered.
Since the produce is perishable, farmers were forced to sell the produce at distress price quoted by the traders. However, the government ensuring that they will buy the unsold produce at least at MSP, the farmers were saved from exploitation. Now, on June 5th, 2020, three farming ordinances were promulgated to change the long-standing rules governing the agriculture sector. Recently, three bills were introduced in the parliament and all three were passed on 22nd September 2020. Farmers fear that the bills will leave them powerless in dealing with major corporations if APMC cease to exist due to inactivity over the years. Several farmers in the country feel that Mandi mechanism offers them some sort of guarantee of price in comparison to states which have not opted APMCs.
Bihar is the biggest example. The state was the first one to abolish the act over the decades ago, enabling private players to directly obtain from farmers. But the results have been far more different from what the government intended. In the state commission agent have been replaced by the cult of traders who now control the prices.
Initially, the agriculture sector may benefit from corporations and like better cold storage, warehouses, etc. However, in the long run, the corporations will gain complete monopoly over the market, leading to price exploitation for the farmers and leading to corporations being the bigger middlemen in the system.
The Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement for Price Assurance and Farm Service Bill. Under this law, it's not mandatory for a company to make a written contract with the farmer for any contract farming. So if the dispute arises between a farmer and a private purchaser, the machinery under these bills is so bureaucratic and convoluted that no farmers will have the potential or the strength or the resource to fight against the purchaser.
It does not have any provision to penalize the corporations if their contracts are not registered. For example, last year potato farmers were sued by PepsiCo for producing same seed varieties as demanded by them without any permission. The farmer organizations finally had to knock the doors of court to find justice.
Presently, if the farmers feel the traders, corporator, agents working inside the APMC mandis are involved in any unfair practice, they could complain to the APMC officer, which is located in the yard itself. However, with the new bills, in the case of dispute, farmers would have to require to go to subdivisional magistrate, which is beyond the capacity of small farmers to pursue given their financial constraints.
The union government has put a proposal to allay the fears of farmers by saying that there will be no lease, sale, or transfer of the property during the contract. However, there have been many instances where the companies have have given excuses like substandard produce to delay the payments. It has happened in the case of sugarcane, where payments were withheld for a long time with an excuse of poor quality. In such cases, the farmers, so as to repay the loans, have no resources but have to sell their land, which will ultimately lead to destroying the farmers. And as a result, it has led to statistics which show that out of 1 lakh suicides every year, 10,000 are committed by the farmer.
Bill does not precise or specify that the contract price of the crop should be at the least equivalent or be above the MSPs. It means the contractor or a companies can pay whatever price they want to the farmers. India's experiencing of the contract farming has been very poor with the farmers, getting very low rates through contract farming as compared to the selling in the government mandis on the MSPs.
Farmer cooperatives and farmer producer organizations already have no restriction over stocking, selling, or producing the crops. As a result, they take conscious decisions of selling the crops only when the price is right and beneficial to the farmers. So, under this bill, there is no new freedom given to the farmers. Instead, the government is removing all the foodstuffs from essential commodities category, allowing companies to hold the product.
Conclusively, we believe that the bills, even not bringing any drastic changes, instead introducing the negative changes. And the fact that the bills were passed in the absence of opposition proves that the bills were not thought, and the bills were in that the bills, the loopholes were ignored.
Farmers' opinions were not considered, making this bill more and more incomprehensive in nature. We all know that the farmers are the backbone of our country, and ignoring their needs will eventually lead to a nationwide crisis. So, we strongly believe that these bills are not good and that the farmers' demands should be considered and met, and relevant and necessary change should be brought in.
Thank you.
Time's up.
Yes, before we move on to T16, I would just like to make an announcement. Can all the other participants leave the meeting and join only when they are called on the group? And people who have finished their turn can stay in the meeting. People who have not yet finished their turn can join and stay in the meeting after they're done with their turn. Thank you.
Team 16, your time starts now.
Very good morning to judges and all the participants and my worthy opponents. I think the topic for the day, excuse me for a second. I'm really sorry about that. Let me start again. Very good morning to one all present here. My name is Aditya, and I'll be representing the corporate side on the farmers' bill issue that is going on in India. I think the biggest concern that many people have is the loss of freedom and farmers being rendered powerless against the big corporate nations. And as eloquently pointed out by my opponents on various points, which I was taking down on the process of this speech, where they clearly highlighted the which are basically the foregrounds and the basic disadvantages or what comes with a very capitalistic approach to any said given sector or industry. Now, what I would like to point out is that India as a country is in a great crisis, and in this sense, what I'm talking about is the economic crisis. Farmers are being forced to sell their produce at extremely low rates because people are not able to buy these commodities. People are out of jobs, and essentially speaking, we are at the cusp of a problem where people do not have the money to spend on anything, be it a commodity, be it investing into their own farmlands to cultivate produce, and even the simplest idea of being able to charter a bus or any sort of transport to take the products to a mandi, which is right now not operational at the way it was. Considering the circumstances, and what we must also consider is the circumstances in this case, which is very clear. These unnatural circumstances call for changes in regulation and changes in procedure. We must understand that corporate involvement opposed to common thought and belief is not always bad. The biggest example could be LASIK eye surgery, which used to cost around $500 probably 30-40 years back, costs $50 in America right now. That's a significant improvement, and that is because of corporate competitive environment. When a competitive environment comes in, every participant in the environment strives to be better, strives to give better quality, strives to give better price for their commodities. And yes, there is cutthroat competition, but that cutthroat competition ensures that the end consumer gets the best product from the best sales, from the best possible outcome. I think in one of the points that was clearly mentioned about where my opponents spoke about the sugarcane delay, where the sugarcanes were denied payment because of the lack of quality. Why should a person be allowed to buy something when the quality is not ensured? One thing that corporates stand at a cusp and at a pinnacle of, which sadly the state and the central governments are not able to replicate, is the idea of quality. They are not able to maintain a certain ethic which is needed in the corporate and private sector in order to maintain their competitive advantage. So that is my first point. A fair use of ingredients and a fair use of produce and also the availability of technology when corporate involvement is considered is significantly higher when considering the farmers bill and how the corporate involvement is correct in my sense. The second thing that I would like to clarify is that there is a choice with the farmer. A farmer may choose not to align themselves with the corporation. Corporations are allowed to enter. Does not mean you have to align yourself with the corporation. Now you can talk about how corporations have the power and the scale of destroying small scale businessmen. Well, that was happening anyways. There were farmers already creating associations and coalitions in certain parts in order to eliminate the competition. Just because of corporation involvement does not mitigate the old strategy of throwing away your opponent. That is basic economics. Throwing away your opponent in order to gain monopoly over a certain market. So what the second and the third point that you mentioned about how
Four
farmers will
minutes up.
end up. Yes, thank you so much. About how farmers will lose their power, that was already happening because there were farmers forming coalitions in order to be bigger farmers. So that is not something new. And another big thing that we need to understand is that mandis are essentially a very middleman. They have a very middleman characteristic perspective. I'm not saying the mandi itself is middleman, but I'm talking about the procedures that happened up until the mandi. Chartering a transportation or getting someone else. All of these are middleman characteristics, and each place the consumer needs to pay for stuff that they are not responsible for. In the sense of a corporation, for example, Big Basket does everything for you. All you need to do is provide them a thing. So it completely mitigates the idea of middlemen and people profiting by doing nothing. And that essentially is another great advantage of corporations coming in. And for people and for the people who believe that the idea of legality and the bargaining power of farmers dropping, there is an institution called labor unions which work extensively in order to help people, and labor unions do exist in this sector as well. So, what are we experiencing? We're experiencing a turn of events where another party is included so that the competition is increased. Has the media ramped this up to something that is totally out of proportion? 100%. Is the state fearing its loss of unquestioned economic advantage? 100%. But where does this lead? Every privatized economy has done better. SpaceX does better than NASA. We have industries in India that do better than that do very well with ISRO. We've got privatization of the air industry has increased our air traffic by a significantly large percentage. So privatization has disrupted, not destroyed, disrupted individual freedom and the
T16, your
small
time
time
is up.
power hold. Yeah, I'm just concluding. Has disrupted and in fact endangered small time power holders like the landowners, zamindaris and stuff like that. But on a larger scale, consumers benefit, and a lot of small time farmers benefit because they're getting easier access to technology, which were only possible by big time farmers and not small time farmers. So basic economics exists. The only thing is an extra player who's only working for quality and profit, and that historically has proven to be better in terms of a market rather than a state-owned process which has seen
T16, your
not
time is
complete
up.
efficiency. That is the end of my thing. I'm really sorry for carrying ahead. Thank you so much.
Uh, T6, your 2 minutes of rebuttal time starts now.
So we just wanted to point out that corporate involvement is not always good because it will lead to higher prices. Like obviously the middle class people and the richer class may be able to afford it, but when there is no excess produce, the government will not have any excess produce to purchase, which will reduce the resources available for the low class of the economy. And and it's just that and also corporate involvement will encourage capitalistic market, as he also pointed out. It is the basic economics, but is it that basic economics and like development of the country or should be at the sake of environment? Because when capitalist market comes into picture, it will encourage only commercial crops to be produced, which will lead to a disrupted ecological system of the environment. And further, we would like to conclude by saying that there is no point for rebuttal because the opponent has just defended the bills instead of putting out the views that corporate is better, like how it is benefiting the corporate. He has just defended the bills. Thank you.
Um, T16, you may start now.
My job is to defend the bills and the corporate stand on the thing. And if I prove that the corporate is better, then that's essentially proving my point. So, okay, fine. Corruption exists anyways. And let's be very frank here. Better technology equals better yield and better protection of the environment. Are you okay with using crude technology that is offered by the government, which is bought on, which is being dumped by foreign countries and has been agreed to? Or are you willing to bring in a corporation which will bring in foreign technology, which is superior in many cases and will help you give better yield and also take care of the environment? Number two. Number three, about the whole question of corporate price appropriation. You'll have to understand, and if you've read the actual amendment, farmers get the final say, right? Farmers get the final say and they get to decide. And it is also mentioned that in the contract, they can specify what MSP they want. So farmers do get the final say. And corporate price appropriation cannot be cancelled under a period of 5 years or more than that if the crop cycle or the livestock cycle is significantly higher. So the question of farmers losing all power is out of the question. Now you might argue saying that all technology isn't equal to better environment, but compared to crude technology, better technology has better yield, and it also helps farmers do an easier job and also helps them save money in investing into their own produce rather than sit and then figure out and then work with resources which are essentially not up to the mark. So fuel and the last thing I would like to point is that the reason why I'm defending the bill and I'm defending the corporate standpoint is because, like I said in the LASIK eye surgery example, which is the most recent example, a $500 surgery is now $50 within the span of 2 decades.
E16 times up.
Yes. So my point is corporates do it better because of competitive advantage. Thank you so much.
Judges, do you have any question for the participants?
Yes, I do have a question for team 16. Hi, Aditya. So, Aditya, can you hi? So, can you give me some example from India? So, similar to the laser eye surgery example that you gave about USA, where market is trying to bring down the prices and all. Can you give me some examples from India, probably in the post 1991 era?
Geo is the best example. Geo is a corporate. Let's be honest. Remember the old times when BSNL and MSNL was actually something that only the upper middle class and the higher class could afford, and we needed to go to something called as a telephone booth and then put coins and talk. Now we have Geo. Extremely cheap data at an extremely cheap rate because of a corporate. Because the competitive environment ensures that quality must maintain if you want to survive in the market, and the price needs to drop. Now, some people may talk about the phone wars and the idea that the data wars is actually leading to a drop in thing. But we as the consumers are benefiting. We are getting quality at a very cheap rate and also are one of the most leading markets for broadband. So privatization has helped. Now there are mishaps here and there. We must understand that a very state-run organization will lack in efficiency. Pre-1991 LPG era, it is the proof of everything. Now, in this case,
yes. One second. Yeah. So, don't you think Geo is also probably becoming or almost some sort of a monopoly? And if we take a similar example in the case of food sector, especially when food is something which has a lot of connection with national sovereignty, food security, and all those things, don't you think an equation if a corporate is becoming some sort of a monopoly with respect to food procurement, don't you think it can become problematic in the long run? Not today, probably in the long.
Yeah. So, like I said, sir, the provisions are very clear that the farmers have the final say. Number one. Number two, it is not one corporation; it's multiple corporations are fighting. So, it will become a private sector, not a monopolistic sector. We will have Amazon. We'll probably what a reasonable argument that you could have said, sir, would have been it would be an oligarchic market where there are multiple strong opponents. Like you've got Amazon, you've got Big Basket, or you've got whoever the other players are. But it will not become a sole monopoly because there are way too many big players who are giving their producers every single piece of technology in order to beat the other guy. So monopoly is something that will not happen, and that is very clear. But it can become oligarchic and in essence have a few powerful players. That is a possibility, but the provisions are very clear that the farmer has the final say. Now, how this develops in the future is something that we cannot speculate. And my argument isn't speculative. My argument is based on how privatization has helped India and can help India. I'm not here to
Yes.
speculate.
Yeah, but the thing is, you should remember that the telecom sector, it's working because they have a very strong regulatory framework. In the case of telecom itself, we have TRAI, and in the case of the market competition, we have the CCI, the Competition Commission of India, which is regulating the market competition. So there is a strict regulatory framework there that's enabling competition and preventing the sector from becoming probably monopolistic, or if I want to use your term, oligarchic. So, like, my only concern is that probably when you made that argument, you should also have focused on the need for better regulatory systems if we are opting for a bit more probably that kind of system. I think you should have, or you ought to have focused on that also. Yeah.
Like I said, sir, I cannot have an argument in a very speculative nature. Now, I am sure that once once the system comes into place, it takes a couple of years for you to weed out the system. We didn't have broadband and telecom industry start off with the best regulatory functions right off the bat. It takes time, and for anything to have a like a solid regulatory body requires it to come into play first, be criticized by the journalists, be criticized by the public, used by political people and as their schemes to create whatever they do, and then it comes in. So there needs to be an initiation, and this is that initiation that India requires, and plus the economic constraints are so bad. Foreign involvement in terms of private sector will actually benefit the farmers by giving them some money to live off rather than no money to live off. So considering circumstances and the track record, it's the better alternative.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Last question. Yeah. Last question to Team 16. After that, over to the other judge. Team 16, Team 6, right?
Yes, sir.
So Team 6, you mentioned about the environmental impacts probably that can happen if we move for a bit more capitalist mode of production, if I use a Marxist terminology. So can I ask you something? Because the current system, the way the current system is existing, many people have argued that the current system of MSPs and probably procurement of certain commodities have led to farmers focusing on certain producers like sugarcane, which are essentially hugely water intensive, and the huge use of urea, the massive use of urea you find in multiple parts, essentially probably damaging the environment, right? So the after effects of green revolution itself you find in Punjab and Haryana. So I'm not actually sure, so those people are also arguing from the same perspective of environment, saying that it is actually this current system which is actually hampering environment more than probably a free market system.
That's the reason. We are not suggesting that it's not bad. We're suggesting bring in amendments in the existing system itself. Don't change the whole thing. Don't like promoting corporates will lead to more. We believe that. We strongly believe that.
Why do you believe that?
For example, the PepsiCo, it requires F50 type of potatoes. Now the farmer's main aim will be to earn money. So he will choose one kind of crop itself to produce again and again. It will lead to soil derogation, etc.
The main aim of farmer is to make money only, right? They are producing commodities only.
But instead of removing those commodities from essential commodities list, if they had added something else to the commodities list, then the farmer would have wider options. Like as you said, because of the MSP, they are just concentrating on few crops. If they had added certain more commodities to essential commodities list, the farmer would have wider options.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, thank you so much. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
I'm good to go. I think we can move on to the next team.
On to the next round, ma'am. T11 and T9. Are you guys there? T11,
Yes, sir.
T9. 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 Are you guys there? Are you guys T9? Okay, T11 you will be starting first and then followed by T9. I will let you guys know when 4 minutes are up and followed by when your time's up. Then we'll move to T9 and then we'll conclude by 2 minutes of rebuttal round.
Yes, we will go to a rehabilitation center. Will you prepare the
T11, your time starts now.
Hello, am I audible? A warm welcome to one and all present here. Good morning, Honorable Chief Guest, the worthy members of the jury, dear teachers, and my fellow debaters. Myself, Geeta Lakshmi, and my partner, Bindaji, of first year BA LLB at Chennai Dr. Ambedkar Government Law College, and in today's inter-college hunt for Middleground debate competition conducted by St. Joseph College of Law, we are thankful for this opportunity and proud to speak upon the viral hot topic of India. As we connect here in the virtual platform before you, wholeheartedly supporting the motion farmers. Before starting, the question arises: is the three bills necessary for the nation like India? Why did the government did not consult any single farmer organization before releasing the audience of the bill under the Article 123 of the Indian Constitution? Is the government working with the corporate friends? If corporate enters the nation, the middlemen will be eliminated. Corporates are highly centralized, hence it will end MSP regime. Yesterday, the government has orally enacted and guaranteed the minimum support price for the copper crops, but not in the written form. Are we short-sighted that we cannot see this trap? Unfortunately, we do think for a backup such as MSP. If you ate your breakfast today, then respect farmers and save farmers.
If corporate enters, I agree that the nation becomes one nation, one market, and farmers lose their bargaining power with big companies is a major concern. Thereafter, we farmers will become slaves to corporates. In this case, I strongly explain that big corporates kill small corporates. When you see small corporate companies those days, such as Campa-Cola, Gold Spot, are the leading companies in the Indian market during my father's generation. But in my generation, where are those corporates went? By this, I conclude big corporates like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Fanta, Mirinda, and Slice, etc. have dominated the small corporates. If this is going to be the case, the nation's marginal and small poor farmers, where will they go? What will be the future consequence of legal contract with companies? If corporate enters, then only big farmers can survive and small farmers are pushed to look for other jobs. Under the Section 3 of Farm Act 2020, it is mentioned clearly farmers can trade outside the mandis, which is fully via online portal. The inter-trade and intra-trade will be enhanced. But do you think the small illiterate farmers will be able to operate the e-portal? Will the ENAM, which means Electronic National Agriculture Market, always consider the small farmers for internet? Is that possible to provide 24/7 service? Should we need to search for an internet connection in those small villages? As agriculture is the foundation of India, still law is framed to suit big corporates who seek to dominate the Indian food and agribusiness. They demand the small farmers for high grade and high quality products. This leads the farmers being dominated. The loss of revenue if farmers sell products outside mandis or APMC markets. The big companies will have the freedom to stock the commodities, helping them to dictate the terms to farmers. As per the Essential Commodities Amendment Act 2020, if violated, then hoarding increases. In this artificial demand, illegal storage of crops and black marketing evolves these days. Removing certain commodities in this act will affect the price rising. Non-perishable items like cereal, pulses, etc. will increase by 50%,
of the profit, and perishable items such as dairy farming products, etc., will rise up to 100% of the profit to corporates. Develops price fluctuation. If any natural disaster or act of God occurs, as government won't involve in providing any subsidies to farmers, this leads raising cost of cultivation and selling for low price. Many articles like Article 19 Section 32 of the Constitution is violated.
In the brief case of Gujarat potato farmers case, Gujarat farmers has reignited the controversy that started in April last year, when PepsiCo India sued for four farmers for the lump sum of rupees 1 crore, accusing them of having infringed its rights by growing crops using FC5 seeds. Farmers in Gujarat have sold a variety of potato seeds registered by multinational PepsiCo company in the symbolic protest against the Food and Beverage Corporation. PepsiCo uses the potatoes grown from the variety in its popular products such as Lay's chips. This farmer's land is owned by corporate. In the court of law, according to the Section 28 of PEB and FR Act, provides executive rights to the breeder, but Section 39 of the Act also provides right to farmers to grow and sell plant if they have developed it. We are hopefully that farmers would win this case too. We'll see the bills individually and inverse effect of the farmers. The Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement of Price Assurance and Farm Services Act 2020. This law leads to exploitation by private players. Farmers' negotiation power will be weakened. The next law.
11, your
Next
time
law.
up.
Yeah, I will be ending up. Next law, Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Act 2020. This leads to end of MSP exploitation by private players. The next law, third law, the Essential Commodity Amendment Act of 2020, black marketing and hoarding will increase and ensures the monopoly of corporates. So I'm in the view that very purpose for which farmers are in the nation. If no farmers, then there will be no food. In the end, I have no hesitation in declaring that support farmers and we are against corporates. Finally, I declare that corporates' main intention is to make and earn profits. Thank you.
T9. Yeah. Your time starts now.
A pleasant morning. I, Khalilur Rahman Savanur and Ashita Desai. Today we are going to put forth our views on how the recent farm bills are useful to the corporate sectors. So without defending the bills, we will directly tell what the bills are, how the bills are beneficial for the corporate sector. So with a vision to liberate the country's agriculture sector from the archaic mandi structure and free from the shackles of middlemen, the present government introduced the three farm bills: the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Bill, the Farmers Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Services Bill, and the Essential Commodities Amendment Bill. Under this law, there will be no need for any kind of license for corporates, traders to purchase agriculture produce of farmers in the trade area outside the APMC Mandi. This opens the floodgates to corporates who can directly procure from the farmers without the interference of middlemen. The first bill allows the selling and buying of crops outside the APMCs without paying any taxes. The trading would be tax-free. The second bill benefits the corporate sector to procure produce at a predetermined price. There would be a fixed price set. The third bill of essential commodities is meant for the stockists, giving unlimited stocking options. The removal of stock limit from commodities such as cereals and pulses can attract FDI, bringing in big opportunities and development in this agriculture production ecosystem. The existing system was ridden with so many ambiguities. There was a long chain. So now private sectors can produce products directly from the farmers. The bill helps in increasing of employment by bringing in farm infrastructure like cold storage and modernizes food supply chain. So if in instance, if onion supply is more than the demand, the corporate sectors can store them to prevent the price fall. This also improves the cold storage storage facilities in the country. Another important benefit is of disputes in contract farming in this law. In case of any disputes arising in such business, the matter would be settled within 30 days by the subdivisional magistrate. There were earlier instances of companies being falsely implicated in such cases and were taken to court. The corporate sector was vulnerable to such threats, but by the passing of this act, it would mean the settling issues at the DM level itself, that too within 30 days. As per the new contract farming act, this law has also been made easy. It will attract private investments in agriculture. Private sector will help modernize infrastructure. The bill will help in increasing employment by bringing in farm infrastructure like cold storage and modernizing food supply chain, and thus would be a beneficial a lot to private companies. Due to this act, more corporate entities will connect and contact with the farmer. So now my friend Yashita Desai will throw some more light on these three farm laws.
As my co-speaker explained, there is a desperate need to develop appropriate trade environment to boost partnership between public and private sector. For greater indulgence for corporations, if corporate sectors have a pay in agriculture, it will lead to modernization and improvement in the agri sector. We have seen that in the health and educational sector, the private entities provide better amenities. This would now happen in the agriculture sector too. The APMC Act, regarding which the farmers are mainly protesting, asking the government to continue with the mandi system, whereas there is no such law which ever stopped the farmers from selling their goods in a place of their choice. Just another additional option laid in advance to the agriculture ecosystem. It was also seen that trading in APMC led to long and multiple chain of intermediaries and price layering. Prior to the amendment, there was also a prevalence of cartelization among the traders, ideally where the farmer should be the price maker who becomes the price taker. Corporates usually require a demand of specific type of agriculture commodity required to further produce their product. Through contract farming, it becomes easier for corporations to get what they require from one source itself and guarantees them the availability of this product. Corporations benefit from this bill. When there is no stock limits, the corporations can purchase the commodities in large quantities and sell them when the prices are on the higher end of the spectrum, which will ultimately lead and boost the economy of our country. Conclusively, it needs to be understood that the new bills have not brought any major drastic changes, only a parallel system within existing system. The National Crime Report Bureau facts state that in the year 2018, around 1.34 lakh suicides occurred, of which 7%, that is approximately 10,000 suicide cases, were of the Indian farmers. I would like to close the statement by saying that there are many previous detrimental acts which are against the interest of the farmers, like the Land Acquisition Act or the Land Sealing Act. So please think rationally, keeping the manifestos aside before you take a big step such as protesting, putting life and safety at stake. It is not, think of it not only to be as a bane, but how it is resulting in the development of our agriculture ecosystem. Yes, we all need a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher once in life, but every day, thrice we need a farmer. Listen to their voices before all of us are put in a situation to raise our voices. Would like to rest my views by stating, pray for the weak rather than prey on them. Thank you.
T11, your
Yes,
rebuttal
sir.
time. Your rebuttal time starts now.
Yes, as my opponent has argued that a fixed price set, do you think that under the Essential Commodity Act, the prices are increasing for non-perishable items and perishable items are increased by 100% of the profit? If you don't, if you think, if actually the main motto of the corporate sector is to raise the cost of cultivation from the farmers and buy it at a less price and sell it at the higher price. It is the only main aim to earn profit, according to this three contagious farm reform laws. And my opponent has said that outside APMC mandis and committee markets, they cannot sell only outside. Do you think that it is actually before it was owned by only the state government, but now when it go to the corporate sector, it will actually make privatization. I agree with that, but still it will actually make the farmers low. and the price taker is only the corporate sector and not the farmer's side. And Land Ceiling Act was also ensured that if the farmers boost their income, the times, like for example, if you say in Tamil Nadu recently it was happened, the grasshopper attack. Do you remember? Yes, I hope. If the grasshopper attack or anything disaster like natural disaster, if the crops are going to be dead, then will you be giving some government subsidies? Is that possible? There will be no MSP regime also. So where will the small farmers will go? As of now, I said in the debate itself, I said in the speech itself that big corporates kill the small corporates. For example, Tampicola and Goldspot are the small corporates which are killed by the bigger corporate. But if the small and marginal farmers, where will they go if they are going to bargain with you? Is it that
11
possible?
times
I
up.
just want to know. Yeah, I am just concluding. Thank you.
T9, your rebuttal time starts now.
Yes, we'll be going on there. To point out my opponent's statement that farmers are illiterate, I would like to point there are 300 plus cost-efficient workshops already being conducted to sensitize the farmers' needs. And there is an app called Fasal app, which also helps the farmer in learning the soil intensity and what kind of crops will be grown in this soil. Also, what is the water content of the soil. It also predicts the weather and environment for up to 14 days. Also, my opponent pointed out that the corporates are killing the farmers by cheating them or sometimes not buying the produce that they have grown. Every business firm and corporation is set up with an intent to operate for a long term. If they are intending to operate for a long term, they are also giving that much amount of employment to the farmers. Also, we have seen that in the previous when the cartelizations used to be formed, the traders used to form a cartel and buy it at their choice of price. Sometimes it used to also happen that the farmers, with the thought of falling into the debts, used to not sell their produce to the traders, which also used to lead in the rottening of the crops and also getting destroyed. So the thing used to be that neither the traders used to get, neither the farmers used to get the money. So basically, the crops used to be of no use. In this situation, what will happen is in the contract farmings and stuff, it will happen such that the corporates will give the farmers the employment rate at a proper and also buy the crops at a proper price. My partner would like to continue.
Our opponent mentioned that there is no mention of MSP, but there is no question of said that MSP would be eliminated, would be eliminated. So basically, it is a parallel system. So this new system is a parallel system to the PMCs will not be redundant.
T9 times up.
Thank you, sir.
Judges.
I have one question to Team 11. One of you made an argument that the farm laws violate Article 19. Could you care to elaborate on it? How do you think the farm laws violate Article 19 of the Constitution?
Yes, ma'am. It actually, according to the Article 39 of Section 19, has been violated because the right to cropping and saving. I just mentioned it because of the Gujarat case. In the case of Gujarat farmer potato case.
No, can you tell me what right are you talking about? Because Article 19 gives a lot of 6-7 freedoms, right? But specifically in this case, can you tell me what right is being violated?
Yes, ma'am. It is about the right of Yes, ma'am. It is about the right for seeding, which was actually provided right to the farmers to grow and sell plants if they have developed it. Then who is the third person of corporate to enter into their farms? Are we slaves?
Okay. So I think what you're suggesting is right to free trade. My only suggestion is if you're making an argument invoking any legal document or any law, then I'd request you to kind of use use the same sort of terminology and connect it to a present case, right? So when
Yes,
I
ma'am.
asked you what exact right you're talking about, I expected to hear, freedom, right to free trade, and then connect that with the farm laws. So just keep that in mind for your future reference.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah, I have no other questions.
I don't have a question, so I guess we can have the next team.
T8 and T2, are you guys there? Team 8
Yes,
and
sir.
T2,
Yeah, we are here.
you guys are Team 8 or Team 2?
8.
Team 2?
Yes, we are here.
Okay, so Team 8, you will be going first. I'll let you know when 4 minutes are up, and then finally when your 6 minutes are done. Then we'll follow by Team 2. I'll do the same with them, and then we'll have 2 minutes of rebuttal time.
Okay, sir.
Team 8, your time starts now.
You're not.
Yes, could you speak a little louder, or is it a technical issue because you're not audible? If you could be a little louder, that will be helpful. You're still not audible.
Hello?
You can still be a little louder because it's very faint. Your voice is really low. If you could keep your mic closer, then you could.
Here now? Hello?
Yeah, I
Yes,
guess
it's
now.
audible. Yes.
Go ahead.
Good morning to one and all present here. So before going to the topic, first we introduce ourselves. My name is Shweta, BCom second year, Vidyavana First Grade College. And myself, Venushri, I am also studying in the second year BCom and Vidyavana First Grade College. So first, before getting into the topic that is about farm bills, let me tell something about the agriculture. That is how important agriculture is, and we all say that it is a backbone of a country. Well, we have to protect all the interest of the farmers. So we'll see how these farm bills were passed so that they are helpful to farmers. So these farm bills were passed in the parliament in the year 2020 with the name of agriculture. The three farm bills were passed. So let me tell you each one. The first one is Farmers Empowerment and Protection Legal Agreement on the Price Assurance and the Farm Services Bill 2020. And the second one is the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Amendment Bill 2020, and the last and final bill that is the Essential Commodities Amendment Bill 2020. So in detail, let me tell you about the first bill, that is the Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Services Bill 2020. So in general, let me tell you what is empowerment and protection. That is, we have to protect the farmers or any people who are getting exploited. So when it comes to the point of view of farmers, we have to protect the farmers of their interest. Either that may be by loans or any, like they shouldn't be get exploited. That is the main important intention. And that should be done only by the legal agreement. So the second important thing is about the price assurance. It is nothing but the price assurance means we have to assure the price that is being given to the product produced by a farmer or fixed by a farmer. So an example here I can give it as if I'm a farmer and I will be ordered with some amount of or some 1,000 bags of rice, so that the corporate woman will order me so that I'll be giving her the delivery. Later she'll come up with a complaint telling that some were of good quality, some were of bad quality. so that I'll not be assured my price. I'll be getting loss, I may get some profit. So if I would have maintained my legal agreement there as a farmer, my price would have been assured. So the last and important thing on this first bill towards the farmer is farm services. We have to produce all the services whichever the farmers has to be received. So some of the main important things that has to be mentioned in the legal agreement are like quality and grade of the products and the price in advance. Like they have to give it to the farmers by all the corporates or industries, MNCs, whatever. And the last important thing is the transport facilities must also be mentioned in the legal agreement. The second point will be said by. So moving on to the second point, the Farming Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion Facilitation Bill 2020. So your trade and commerce means buying and selling the goods outside the physical premises like mandis and APMC. So earlier the agriculture goods would be conducted with APMC and mandis, where mandis are controlled by state government APMC such as warehouse and cold storages. By this act, the farmers got a freedom to sell their goods anywhere within the state and outside the state. And this bill allows barrier-free trade, which is business without boundaries. And then in market there are big farmer and small farmer, whereas small farmer directly sell the goods to the consumers, whereas large farmers go through the APMC. Like because the government will give rules and regulations and protect them. So here, with the help of this, state government will import taxes on sales and purchase the goods outside the mandis. So, with the help of this bill, the farmers got a freedom to sell their goods at good price. And so, moving on to the last point, the Essential Commodity Amendment Bill 2020. Commodity is not a new bill. So the government had made existing amendment Essential Commodity Bill 2020. So first of all, what is essential commodity? Basically, it controls the supply and distribute the certain goods. So your middlemen will do illegal storage of goods to create the artificial demand, and it leads to black marketing, and it affects the normal life of people. Like certain goods like fuel, medicines, petroleum, etc. And then, with the help of this bill, the state government can include and exclude the commodities whenever they need it. Like example, shortage of onions. Then here, so this bill, the amendment had made of this bill regarding removing certain commodities, and then so the government will regulate them in the cases of war, high price risk, and natural calamities. So here the government had took good steps like boosting farmers' income, and high chances like illegal storage of goods. So coming to the conclusion, that is, now we saw how the farm bills were, like how the farmers expected the farm bills to be, and some people said that they need the middlemen, and not all the farmers are of same. So some farmers who will tell that they don't need farm bills. So
You've been muted. You're on mute.
you can hear now.
Yes. Continue.
Okay. So, coming with the conclusion, all the farmers are not of same. Some farmers will accept whatever the bill is being passed, and some farmers will not accept, or they will be against. So, we will let us know now how in what are the ways that they will be affected by the farm bill.
Your time's up. Team 2.
Yes, team 2. Can I go? Can I start?
1 second. Your time starts now.
Yes, so good afternoon, everybody. My name is Joshua. I'm from first year LLB. So, like the previous team had explained it beautifully, I'd like to explain how this new law would actually give a lot more choices to the farmers. So the farmers will have a choice to sell their produce all over the country, anywhere, any part of the world, which was not possible previously. So in the sense, before, if a farmer from Punjab who has rice and he wants to sell it to a farmer, to a trader in Tamil Nadu, that can't be done without the use of these arthas or these APMC middlemen. So right now, with the new law, a farmer can actually sell his produce all over India wherever he pleases to, and based on the market rate. And we should also keep in mind that this law doesn't talk about the MSPs or how the APMC mandis would be cancelled. It's just like a parallel economy where the farmers get more choices. So in the sense, like there's still a public distribution system where the government would have to buy grains to support the needy and the poor. So the government still has to buy grains no matter what. So by saying that this parallel economy is being created, you can't say that the government won't buy grains and there would be a loss or a wastage of all the grains. So like we have already seen a monopoly that was being created in these APMC mandis. So in these APMC mandis, there are these big farm owners, big land owners who take active participation in these mandis. So they work as middlemen themselves. So they push on these smaller farmers and they decide the price in which they would sell it to. So normally they would just give them the minimum support price and they wouldn't give them anything more. So later these middlemen who procure these crops for less prices like 30 rupees, and then they would switch hands, and by the time it reaches the end producer there will be many hands being switched and many people will be making money on the way, which would be eliminated in this case because previously private players couldn't buy directly from the farmers without going through the APMC. But with these new laws, the private players can directly contact the farmers and they can trade between themselves. And there's even an advantage where in these non-APMC mandis, there wouldn't be this tax system where 2.5% like in Punjab, there wouldn't be these additional taxes which would be levied on these products. So like in the sense, so in the end, like the farmers are going to benefit more because the middlemen are reduced on the way. Now over to you, Amaya. He's going to give the more economic aspect of that.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Amay. I'm also Joshua's classmate, first LLP. So, the important aspect to remember here, where everyone talks about how farmers are going to be not be benefiting from these laws, it's important why we have corporates coming into the picture. Since 2003, ever since the UPA government was there, they have realized the need for bringing in privatizations and allowing private players also to come into this sector. So most of the economists have even spoken about it, and since that time, then UPA government has also through the planning commission have realized they did try to enact laws, but it did not work out. So and then the 11th planning commission found out in the 2010 there was in Nashik, where which is the Asia's largest onion market. 20% of the onions were sold by one trader itself, and the spread for each was very high. Approximate their calculation is approximating up to 50 rupees from which they're procuring and selling per kg. So that was the difference. Yeah, thank you. Then one thing we need to realize is that the issues with the supply market. Now, you had ResearchGate, which did its research over the period of last 10 years, which realized up to 2 lakh crore rupees have been gone into wastage because the amount in the supply thing, the amount of crops which are getting destroyed has created a huge loss amongst people. So what has this done is allowed bigger companies like Reliance to swoop in and allow them to use their own resources. Now, why is it important that companies like Reliance take part? Is because you have Ninja Card, Ante 11, Zero Labs, Farmil, and Krishi Hub, small companies which failed. And this pandemic has shown that small companies, in order to survive, it's really hard. So we need to show those big ones, big companies paving the way with their resources for the farmers' benefit. Now, coming to in the past couple of decades, we have been signing MOUs with the Israeli government. Now, in the 15 or 17, our Prime Minister had gone to Israel and we had signed a MOU with the Israeli government for $40 million with regard to saving water, and that water which is being used for irrigation for most of the plants. Now, the issue here in Punjab and Haryana is that they are into rice and wheat and all. Those are the major agricultural crops. So the water table over there has gone reasonably well below the required rate, and over there we are required to use the AI. Now, these AI systems cannot be used by the small and marginal or the bigger ones. Also, they need tech support and understanding from the big corporates. When the big corporates come into the picture, you're not only going to saving on the supply and the irrigation part, but AI will also help you to realize and understand when should be the right time to sow a crop and which would be the ideal crop to sow over a period of time, because AI already has the data. Okay, thank you. If I could just finish in 10 seconds or something.
I can give you 10 seconds.
Yeah, thank you. So AI will provide you all the information required for farmers to get a better yield. In order to increase revenue, either increase the cost or better yield. So if you're allowing the corporates to come in, it will be much more beneficial on a longer run. Thank you.
Teammate,
Yes, sir.
your 2 minutes of rebuttal time starts now.
Yeah. As my opposite teammate had told that middlemen will always benefit the farmers. That is not the correct point. Why? Because all the middlemen will not be the same. Some are only they will have illegal registration for APMCs and mandis as well. They will be present only to manipulate the farmers, I guess. Not all the farmers will be the same. And the other point is MSP doesn't relate, it is wrong. It relates here. Why? Because some farmers had told that they don't want mandis and APMCs so that middlemen will not be there. But they cannot directly reach the corporates also, so they need middlemen there. And I even have a question that why will corporate not include in this farm bills? As someone of that opposite teammate told, it does not mean anything with corporate. And I even want to know how the employment opportunities will be given by the corporates. They will assure that they will be giving opportunities and they will take their land from the farmers and make them slaves as well. So, as he told the onions as an example, even I can tell the same example as we saw in these lockdown only, there we didn't get any kind of onions for some period. Like they created artificial demand by having the hoardings, that is illegal storage of that. So that they created demand. After that, they increased the price. Then they released, even though their farmers will get the proper amount. It was the middleman will take from the farmers for one price and he will increase his commission, but that commission is not given to the farmer, so he will be lost there. Thank you, sir.
Yes, firstly, it's Joshua. So, what I actually didn't say that middle.
Ask the participants to turn on your video while answering. That would be great enough. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. So, firstly, I said middlemen are bad for the industry. So, basically, by the time the farmer's produce reaches the consumer, it changes many hands. So, I didn't say that middlemen was a good thing. This new law would prevent middlemen because they even allow corporates to have this online bidding system where they can actually give the best price available. So, eliminating the middlemen is one of the main motives towards this law. So, like I said, even the Essential Commodities Act, they had done an amendment where they allow for storage of these items, food items. So these essential commodities, when like rice and wheat, when they are stored in a proper environment, it would actually last much longer. It doesn't necessarily increase the price, but by storing it, like the onion problem that we had before, it wasn't caused because of the black market storage, because you can't actually store onions. It was just because the lack of production. Because states like Punjab and Haryana used to actually make onions and all of that, but because of wheat and maize, they stopped produce. Because MSP on wheat and maize, they stopped producing all other vegetables, onions, and all the other produce. They just solely changed their market to just rice and wheat. So which is a bad thing. Now Amaya was gonna continue.
The issue of the onion thing which you had spoken about, which Joshua said is true. Hoarding of it did impact a little, but the on a wider aspect which we talk about, the reason I spoke about Nashik not only being the Asia's largest onion market, but it is also important to note in past few decades the way the Maharashtra has been working with drought and other natural calamities, it's not able to provide the yield which is required. So those are the major contributing factors for the shortage of onions rather than hoarding and all. Anyways, we have laws which deals with when people illegally hoarding a huge amount of quantities of onions, and that is.
Team 2, your time's up.
Okay.
Judges, do you have any questions for them?
I'm fine, thanks.
Yes, the question is to Team 2. So you guys, I guess, spoke well. My question is with respect to the way the farm bills were implemented. Yeah, I don't think the Team 8 touched upon that, but the necessity of consultation and the way the bill was rushed through the houses. I hope you are law students and you know how it happened. So, what do you think about that? Probably not the content of the bill in itself, but the way the bills were implemented. What do you think about that? How do you think you could defend that? Or, like, what are your opinions on that?
So, to be honest, the way they were implemented, that might be a questionable. But the important aspect to remember here is, at this point, the current government has majority in both the houses. So it would have eventually passed the bill without any restrictions per se. But it's not like it was passed through one night think tank and then it was passed. This economic aspect has been taken into consideration over a long period of time, and it is the same thing with the previous government and the previous recommendations of various economic chiefs also giving their recommendation. Based on that, they had formulated this bill and tried to pass it in both the houses of the parliament.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes, can I put in a few words? And they didn't want the farm laws to be delayed even more. Due to this pandemic, a lot of farmers were losing livelihoods, and the government wanted to do a strict and stringent measure ASAP. So by delaying it, I agree that the voting shouldn't have been done just by the voice vote. They should have taken a proper ballot vote, but it would have just led to more delays. And already the havoc that has been caused due to this pandemic, I mean, it was the only other logical option.
Yeah. It was not just about passing through voice vote. It was not. It was also about not sending the bill to a standing committee, not even having a discussion on the same. All of those things happened, right? So I'm not just referring to the voice vote stuff. And with reference to the pandemic acting as the reason for I don't know, passing this bill at this time. I don't know. I'm not able to buy that. I can see that that's a policy window where the government is able to do certain things. Probably they expected less opposition, so they could push over a lot of things. But I don't necessarily see the farm bill suddenly probably helping the farmers during pandemic. Yeah, like how can you like? I don't see the correlation. I guess it's a long term thing, right? Like,
yes, and as you see, there's even a lot of foreign direct investment in our Indian economy. So by passing these laws, we would have chances of foreign investors investing in our cold storages or investing in the agribusiness as a whole. So.
Yeah, those are all long term. Like in sense, it takes time. Right? You not like suddenly speaking, the cold storages are going to be coming up during pandemic. But yeah, good. Yeah, what is that? Team 8. Yeah, Vinusri and Sweta. Yeah, Vinusri and Sweta. So you mentioned about the farm bills and all. So you mentioned that not all intermediaries or not all middlemen may not be, I don't know, bad. I guess that's the term you used. Like who are those probably good intermediaries or good middlemen? What do they do?
all the middlemen are not same, because some they will help by giving the right information about the upgraded technologies, or it may be about the prices in the market. But some middlemen, like others who helps or who will be in favor to corporates, will not be helping the farmers by giving the right education. They will be manipulating, right?
But when we have to make decisions, sometimes we have to be a bit more generalistic, right? Like every human being is different. Like so if we go into complete relativistic territory, like how do we make decision as a policy maker, right? So sometimes we need to make some generalization, right?
And that is why we have to educate all the farmers to think that about all technologies.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yes. Yeah. Good to go. We can call the next team, I guess. Thank you.
Team 10 and Team 15. Are you on call?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so team 10 will be going first since it's speaking for the farmer side, and team 15 will be going next. Team 10, your time starts now.
A very pleasant afternoon to everyone. Happy Republic Day, first of all. As we all know, India is the agriculture-based country. This has to be favorable to the farmers. Where on October 2020, the three bills which were passed by the Parliament, such as the Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement, Price Assurance and Crop Services, and Farm Produce Trade and Commerce.
Team 10, your voice is breaking a lot. Could you please rectify it?
Yes, ma'am, 1 second.
Yes.
Now are we audible, ma'am?
Yes. Continue.
The second bill is Farm Produce Trade and Promotion and Facilitating Bill 2020, and the third bill is Essential Commodities Amendment Bill 2020. After mentioning all the three bills, why the farmers are for why these bills are first thing is this farmers are very feared of these bills because they will agree for if they agree for each and every bills which they pass now. In the future, if any kind of problem arises, the government comes by giving any scheme or any funds for them. And after the end of APMC and the farmers will be forced to sell their crops to the market companies by off price due to the abolishment of money. There will be no purchase of crops on MSP minimum support price, and my myself Savita Upadhyay from BCom second year.
You have 4 minutes to present. Left.
Farmers will be exposed to risk of fraud due to the entry of people without any registration. Besides this problem, farmers also having fear to lose their lands and becoming slaves to the corporate as far as the farmers are not educated. And what is it? In backbone of India, this has to be like protecting the farmers from their interest and remove the middlemen. As the youth, we have to help in improving the agriculture.
Uh, Team 10, you're on mute. We can't hear you.
No audible, ma'am?
Yes, yes. You just have 2 minutes left.
First, well, explained us that the farmers, the empowerment and protection farmers' interest, the protection and the empowerment and trials interest of their price, which they fix by the farmers. As to the product, it can be explained that I produce up the types of then a come and I will sell it for out of those bags, some are of unrelated with some dust or anything, but they pay only for the bag for the bag have where it leads to the loss for the it leads to the loss for the uh, loss for the farmers and farm services which they first bill is quality and date of the product that is produced and delivering facility and price in advance, which guarantees of their product, which is not which is taken by the corporate.
Here comes the second bill, the Farming Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Bill 2020. Trade and Commerce. Trade and commerce is generally known as buying and selling of goods outside the country. Here, every farmer should sell their goods, mandis or agencies. Here, mandis are
T10, your time is up. Your 6 minutes is up. T15, your time. Are you ready? Please turn your videos on. Yeah, your time starts now.
Good morning to one and all present here. I am Himadri Tyagi and she is my friend Priyanka Vaishnav from Global Institute of Business Studies. And we are currently pursuing our BBA from first semester. And we are here to highlight the booms of farmer bills towards corporate sector. The first farmer bill was passed in Lok Sabha on 15 September 2020 and in Rajya Sabha on 22nd of September 2020. The monsoon session of Lok Sabha passed 3 agricultural sectors of Lok Sabha, of which we will be speaking about how the farmers' bill is favorable to the corporate sectors as well as to the farmers.
The anatomy of global agriculture has undergone a complete metamorphosis in recent decades and is structurally different now. According to the World Factbook, India is the second largest producer in the world in agriculture sector, which comprises of almost $367 billion. According to Food and Agriculture Organization of United Nations, Indian population is farm-oriented as agriculture-based families.
The first bill, which was bill on agri market, farmers produced trade and commerce, which is promotions and facilitated in 2020. Some of the advantages are to create an ecosystem where farmers and traders enjoy the freedom to sell and purchase from producer outside mandis under states APMPs, and mandi is considered as a private-based facilitation. It also helps farmers build friendly connection to the corporate business, and it also helps to reduce marketing and transportation costs and helps farmers in getting better prices to provide a facilitation framework for electronic trading. And the second bill is a bill on contract farming, which is the Farmer Agreement of Price Assurance and Farm Services Bill 2020. So the advantages of this bill is that farmers can enter a contract with agri business firms for future farming produce at a pre-agreed price and to transfer the risk of market unpredictability from farmers to sponsors. So the risk will not be taken by the farmers and it will be towards the sponsors. And they will also be able to reduce the cost of marketing and boost farmers' income. And this will make the provision for setting up a framework for contract farming. In this, the farmers and the business can strike a deal before production of crop, and the corporate sector will make prior contract and provide various aids to the farmers, which will enhance the standard of living of the farmers. The third bill says bills relating to commodities, that is Essential Commodity Bill 2020. This provision will attract private sectors or FDI into farm sector as it will remove fears of private investors of excessive regulatory interference in business operations. It will also bring investments for farm infrastructure like cold storage and modernizing food supply chain. It will help both farmers and consumers by bringing in price stability to create competitive market environment and cut wastage of farm produce. According to according to Das, the Indian economist, it will defeat the monopoly cartel at Agriculture Produce Market Committee, that is APMC, Mandi, and sell the goods. Excuse me. Next, we'll talk about a very practical example, which is green revolution, which was
T15. You
which
have
is
2 minutes left. Thank you.
So we will talk about a very successful movement taken by the Indian government in 1966. The Green Revolution was one which was very successful, where the government had decided to make the agricultural technological advancements, and it had led to increase in food grain production and agricultural technological advancements, and it also led to great economic prosperity. Therefore, we believe that once the farmers will support this bill, it will the government will or the corporate sector will be able to prove themselves, and also we will be able to test it and understand if it works for the farmers and the corporate world or not. Ending to the conclusion, as we all know that the vision of Indian government towards New India coordinates every single citizen for betterment of nation. The interdependency of both agriculture sectors and the corporate sector will surely lead India to the top. This farm bill will banish the purpose of middlemen, and by this farmers will be able to get better profit margin. Thank you.
T10. Your rebuttal round starts now. If can you please come on video? Yeah, your 2 minutes rebuttal round starts now. T10, you're on mute and your video is off again. Please turn it on.
As they said, the machines with technology which were updated, which cannot be used by other, where the educated farmers can only use those technologies and cultivate their crops. How it helps the uneducated farmers?
T10, you can finish all your questions at once. If you don't have any questions, can we move on to the other team? T15, you can your rebuttal time starts now.
So, as she mentioned, that the farmers who are uneducated might not be able to use the technology really well. So, answering to that, I feel that as the corporate world is here to merge with the farmers, we will cooperate together and we will move together. So, with that, the farmers will get used to the technology. Yes, definitely it will take time, but the farmers will also get the knowledge and they will be able to use the technology as well.
T15, if you have any other questions, you can put forth. It's your 2 minutes interrupted. You can make all the rebuttal that you want.
So we would just like to conclude and we would just like to say that we believe that the farmers, as there are many advantages that you can see that will be given to the farmers, and the farmers will be able to gain more profits when they work with the corporate sector. So when the farmers get the opportunity to have more advancements and have more yield, why not merge with the corporate sector, and instead of protesting, why not give them a chance and work together, as already our country and the entire world is going through this pandemic, and there are many more risks that they are taking, which can be reduced by just following the bill.
Thank you, T10 and T15. Judges, if one of you have any questions, you can put forth.
I'm fine.
Sir, if you have any questions, you can ask.
No, I have not a question specifically. The team 15. So in between, you mentioned about an economist. So you quoted an economist saying certain things. Who was that? Like, you don't have to read it. Just tell me. Yeah, you don't check your notes. Just speak to me.
Sir Guru Charan Das.
Who was that?
Sir Guru Charan Das, Indian economist.
Yeah, Gurcharan Das is an Indian economist. I know Gurcharan Das. Yeah, I've read that particular piece also that you referred to from Times of India. Yeah, but yes, yeah. The point is can you, if like to the question is to Team 15, if you could list out just 3 points that you would want to support the bill, can you just tell me those 3 points? You don't have to refer your notes. Just three points with which you want to support the bill.
So, firstly, the risk that the farmers have taken for so long, like because the environment keeps on changing and they might have many losses throughout the years. So, the risk that the farmers had to take before, now the sponsors will be taking all of their risk. So, that is an advantage for the farmers. And you can say first. So, in related to COVID-19, we would like to mention like during this pandemic, many farmers were losing their jobs also, and they were not able to reach to that position. But if it was with corporate sector, then this loss might not be occurred to farmers. And also, there will be a price stability when it comes with the corporate sector. So, throughout the year, the different grains and different crops they have a variety of prices. Sometimes it is too high for the people to buy. Sometimes it is too low. So, when the price will be stable for the consumers, they will it will be more affordable, or they can plan their budget well. So, it will be very beneficial for the consumers, as well as having a stable price will be good for the corporate sector as well.
Okay. Aren't the prices now stable?
So many times, yeah, no, sir. Like for example, the prices of onion sometimes it will be raised very high, then sometimes it will be low, or based on the yield, the price will depend. For example, if they have too many yield, like the yield is too high, then the price will be low. But if the yield is low, the prices will be high. So if the price is stable, the people will also be able to buy it accordingly, and as well as there will be stability throughout.
Do you think price stabilization is an outcome of mechanisms? Like, I think the government through stocking and through probably all of those things, they are trying to stabilize the price, right? How do you think a market mechanism would be able to create price stability? So what you just told now is basic demand supply stuff, right? Like that's why the price is varying. So what you are arguing was for a market system. So I think I don't see a necessary contradict.
So generally, as we see in the market, for example, let's take an example of a chocolate. When a company is selling the chocolate, like the price is same throughout the year, and there is a stable price, right? So, for example, if the same happens with the food, the price won't differ as much.
Okay.
Is what I'm trying to.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, so that's not the point. Yeah, I don't know. You probably should have to read more, not just Gurcharan Das. Try reading those people who oppose Gurcharan Das. So yeah, so try doing that. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Over. We'll go to the next team. Thank you.
Thank you. Is T3 and T12 on call?
Yeah.
This is T3.
Yes.
What about T12?
One minute. She's also there.
T12, can I get a reply?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can both the teams come on video?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. If both the teams are ready, T3, you're going first. Your time starts now.
So, if agriculture goes wrong, nothing else will have a chance to go right by M.S. Swaminathan. So, Indian Parliament passed 3 agricultural acts: Farm Produce Trade and Commerce Act 2020, Farmers Agreement of Price Assurance, and the Essential Commodities Act 2020 during its monsoon session, culminating on 23rd September. So, these are the reasons why we as farmers feel these bills are unfavorable to us. So, one of the main reasons what we feel is contract farming. Farmers make up 60% of the Indian population, following 18% as gross domestic product, and large farmers in India, like the small farmers, are 85% in total population. So the bill which we talk about, Agreement of Price Assurance Act, mostly to go engage themselves in contract farming. So, firstly, in contract farming, the farmers directly deal with the corporates to sell their produce. This act provides for setting up or framing agreement between farmers and the sponsors. So, in India, at least 80% of the farmers being not literate enough to understand the details of the contract, and if the produce does not meet the quality, they get rejected in bulk. So where the farmers sometimes not have a verbal agreement, they sometimes have a verbal agreement with the corporates. So they won't have any piece of paper when the corporates go in loss or when the farmers themselves go in loss, when the whole produce is rejected in bulk. So at that time, no one will be able to support the farmers, and suppose farmer have to go take a lawyer for them to support in their case. As the farmers are not literate enough, they won't have it. They would the company would impose many legal liabilities on the farmers. So the second reason is APMC. Against APMC, mandis are well known. The biggest complaint is what we face: their excessive politicization, which mostly results in cartelization and price fixing. Precisely for this reason, there are several attempts at reforming their functioning. Easier licensing norms, removal of entry and exit barriers, and computerization and transparency have been introduced in most APMC markets. However, the Bihar government decided to abolish the APMC system altogether in 2006, and we all know the consequences. The APMC system was introduced to prevent distress of sale by the farmers to their creditors and to protect farmers from the exploitation of intermediaries and traders. And APMC have served some key purpose like removal of malpractices, imperfections in agricultural markets, creation of orderly and transparent marketing conditions, and ensuring a fair deal for farmers to sell their produce. As per older laws and provisions, farmers have to sell their produce at APMCs. It was mandatory that the first sale of agri-produce took place in the market yard of the mandis. APMCs were formed by the government of India to shield farmers from big retailers and to ensure the retail prices did not get too high. As per the new bills, farmers will not be free to allow to sell their produce to private buyers, including big companies. Farmer bills passed in the Indian Parliament give the farmers the freedom to sell their crops anywhere in India, even in the online mode. So your farmers will not be dealing with the APMC, and APMC going to get completely abolished according to the new bill. So farmers will be at the mercy of big corporators during these dealings. If at all MSP is abolished, farmers will lose the bargaining chip and at a last ditch sale they have always had. The third point is corruption. Problems occur when staff responsible for issuing contracts and buying crops exploit their position. Such practices result in a collapse of trust and communication between the contracted parties and soon undermine any contract. Management needs to ensure the corruption in any form does not occur. On a larger scale, the sponsors can themselves be honest or dishonest or corrupt. Governments have sometimes fallen victim to dubious or fly-by-night companies who have seen the opportunity for a quick profit. Techniques could include charging excessive fees to manage a government owned venture or by persuading the government or other investors to set up a new production and primary processing facilities to run the risk of losing everything. Working with contracted farmers or during contracted farming, the sponsors to share the risk of production failure due to weather, disease, etc. The farmer takes the risk of losing the whole loss of crop and in result will go to many process of losing the processing facilities and resulting they lose everything. So working with them, one of the major attractions of contract farming is the availability of credit either directly by the company or through a third party. However, farmers can face considerable indebtedness if they are confronted with production of problems. If the company provides poor technical advice, if there are insignificant changes in market conditions, or if the company fails to honor the contract, there is a particular concern with long-term investment, so either of tree crops or any of the farm facilities. If advances are controlled, the indebtedness of farmer can increase to uneconomic levels, resulting to more the debts they have, the farmers themselves would not be familiar or not be taking up the farmer issue.
So just to add more points to my fellow farmers, the fellow farmers has highlighted. So one of it is the MSP system. MSP, the minimum support price system, which is nothing but the agricultural product price set by the government of India to purchase directly from the farmer. This is not enforceable by law. By definition, this rate is to safeguard us to a minimum profit for the harvest. If the open market has lesser price than the cost incurred. This system makes sure that we don't get exploited and get fair prices for our crops. The bill, Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Bill 2020, will lead to dismantling of APMC, which will result in dismantling of MSP system. In Punjab, more than 95% of paddy growers benefit from MSP, which shows how important the system is for the agricultural sector. Removal of which will lead to us as farmers getting less prices for our crops, and instead of marketing deciding the prices, it will be big corporate houses like Reliance and Adani Group. MSP also gives a price assurance to us, which because of the recent bill won't exist anymore, leaving us vulnerable. The second point is Essential Commodities Amendment Bill, which is the third bill.
Yeah. The 3-year time is up. We can move on to T12 now. T12, can you come on video?
Will you start, ma'am?
Yes, your time starts now.
Good morning, everyone. My name is D. Monisha. My partner name is K. Amsaveni. I am studying in first year BA LLB Dr. Ambedkar Government Law College. Today, my topic is corporate. Farm bills are favorable to the corporate. So, we can discuss the corporate. Corporate company is relating to a large company or a group. A company is an artificial person having the separate legal existence and pecuniary succession and common sin. We can see in the news that forms of India happen, protesting scene. 3 constitutional bills enforced in the parliament. There are due to introduction of the 2 new bill and 1 amendment bill. The first bill we can saw the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Taxation Bill 2020, and second the Farmers Empowerment and Production Agreement of Price Assurance Farm Services Bill 2020. The last amendment bill, the Essential Commodities Amendment Bill 2020. Now we can discuss the first bill of the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Taxation Bill 2020. The farmers having the choice to sell their agricultural produce at a place of their choice beyond the APMC, I mean Agricultural Produce Market Committee markets. Yards at a better price, the increase in the number of potential buyers. To trade barriers, it will facilitate in-stating trading promotions, the concept of one nation and one market. It will increase competitiveness in the market, ensuring the better prices for the yield. It will increase the engages in trade through electronic trading platforms and saving variously associated with the marketing and transportation. A separate dispute resolution mechanism for the farmers to avoid bending court. Now we can second bill can discuss my partner Amsaveni.
Yes, you can. She can start speaking.
Amshavini, I guess you are muted. To unmute yourself.
Is she facing a technical issue?
Okay, ma'am, I can explain the second bill.
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. The second bill of the Farmers Empowerment and Production Agreement of Price Assurance and Farm Services Bill 2020. The facilitating the farmers to enter into a direct or commercial agreement with the companies production of food products and wholesalers, retailers and exporters, etc. This will eliminate the fear of exploitation and ensuring access to global market. Investment by the buyers in teams of infrastructure and technology to foster the production for food grains. It will reduce the cost and improve their income as access to modern technology will be achieved. After the terms of the contract and decided the buyer will provide the means to yield a good crop. The contract will only be a agriculture produce and not for the agriculture land. The farmer will be owner and can avoid loan and credit facilities from financial institutions if this need be. Crops under the agreement shall be exempted from the rules and laws related to the sale of agricultural produce or provisions of Essential Commodities Act. Now we can, as Amshavini, you can continue my third point. Third bill.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, the third bill explains about the Essential Commodities Amendment Act. It will provide some more benefits to the corporate only. The farm bill will definitely create tailwinds for agri-tech startups. Anyone working on market linkage, post-harvest services or digital farmer platforms will benefit from the new laws, which enable direct defecting with the farmers. The bills will take much care of the regulatory uncertainty in agri-value. In having awareness of architect startups will be nimble footed on a large agribusiness in building farm sourcing systems and release infrastructure. Second, Thirdly, the reform will prove to us to win a situation for all stakeholders involved, farmers, consumers, and corporates. My partner will continue the next one.
Yes, it will encourage private sector investment in cold storage and fair ways for modernizing the supply chain. Removal of stock limits, ensuring a large market of farmers, and attracting investments in infrastructure and transportation due to the favor government restrictions. Now we can sort. So the bill is considered by the Parliament of India, enacted by Lok Sabha, enacted September 17, 2020. So the lower house of Rajya Sabha is enacted by September 20, 2020, signed by the Ramnath Govind. So the government, Mr. Ramnath Govind, President of India, introduced by Mr. Narendra Singh Tomar, Minister of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. During the 1950s and 1970s, most of the states enacted and enforced agriculture produce market regulation. I mean AMPR. So the corporate concluded the from suicide relief to suicide prevention, multiple livelihood opportunities, traditional knowledge, and modern science before the advising farmers listen to them social and political support towards the farmer. The vast majority of small and marginal farmers in India lack an effective voices in influencing research and extension priorities. Unhappy farmers can be made happy through loan waivers only. So thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Yes, T3, you can, your rebuttal round starts now.
Okay, so as mentioned by the fellow team, the modern technology, as the farmers are not really aware and are not really educated to actually cope up with the modern technology. So first, we need a system which will help them be aware and come to terms with whatever is happening. And second thing, the APMC system was itself started by government to get rid of money lenders and money lenders which charge a high rate of interest and which is not really good for the farmers. And getting rid of that system, which this bill does, will minimize the opportunities for farmers, as here the corporate houses will have a monopoly and they can offer any price they want and farmers will be left with no choices. And as far as the Essential Commodities Act is concerned, the removal of few items from the list will lead to the black marketing and hoarding by the corporate houses, as this will not only create a passage like where the corporate houses can ask for whatever price they want. It will also lead to a huge difference in demand and supply of the market.
Yeah, also she was talking about potential buyers. Potential buyers where only farmers are going to get good corporate hold. What if the farmer falls into bad side of corporates or any bad companies, and suppose there's no written agreement and both the sides have accused like both of them are accepted to a verbal agreement. So when there's loss of bulk quantity of the crop, who will be held accountable for it? It will not be the farmer. How will the farmer hold the company? Because he himself won't know what to do at that time and he has no legal agreement or anything. It is just a verbal agreement would have taken place. And as such, farmers wouldn't have at least a piece of paper or themselves to go through with this.
Yeah, your time is up, T3. T12, your rebuttal round starts now.
Yeah, I can continue this. Now, the fellow team has said that these bills are only benefited to corporates, not for the farmers. But what do these bill changes mean? Short answer is everything. That let us assume that corporates get all excited and starts connecting with farmers directly. The other aspect of government's argument is that the middleman in these transactions would vanish and the farmer will also get able to get better profit margins. This processing company that enters into long-term agreement with food and service distribution companies that actually sell end-to-end that are again B2B. Food stores like Walmart, Maver, restaurants are a retail outlets. So the argument that the number of layers will be simply reduced isn't true. Yeah, we have to complete with this. Both farmers and corporates get a benefit from this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, T3 and 212. If the judges have any questions towards him, they can ask now.
I have a question. I have a question to the team that was speaking on behalf of the farmers. My question is, hello? Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Yeah, my question is, as you're aware, all the farm laws have been challenged before the Supreme. What is your quick take on the validity of these three laws? What do you think, legally speaking or constitutionally speaking, can you name one issue? Thanks.
T3, I think the question was directed to you.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So, like ma'am asked, basically the constitutionality of these laws. From a farmer's point of view, I feel they were constitutional, just not in the favor of farmers. They were not pro farmers, more like some more made for the big corporate houses. But legally speaking, in my opinion, they were constitutional.
Okay, thank you. I have a small question also to Team 3. I think I guess when Delisha was speaking, she mentioned that APMCs were probably abolished in Bihar, and we all knew what happened in Bihar after that. I don't know what happened in Bihar after that. Can you please let me know?
So yes, so after the APMC and the mandi system was abolished, and after then the farmers were supposed to grow the potatoes. So what happened was, as they were going directly to the giving to the bigger companies or the corporates. So what happened was they were supposed to there were 5 to 7 stages where the whatever they used to give their produce used to go to the 7 stages. So what happened was, most of the time when the farmer used to give their produce to the corporate or to the market, maybe in the fourth or the fifth stage itself, they used to give a reason telling that no quality, or no giving reasons telling that the produce is not good. And by the time itself, they used to tell the farmers to remove the produce from that list. So at that time, the whole bulk quantity what the farmer had grown throughout that time would go to a waste. So there was a big protest and big fights held because farmers were seen throwing all their whatever they had grown for so long on the roads, because it was no use, because because they themselves are directly connected to the corporates, and when the corporates themselves say no, it's not happening.
Yeah, thank you. Also, last question to Vaidanchi. Vaidanchi referred that when APMCs would be abolished, so then there would be lack of MSPs, and probably the kind of thing that Delisha was talking about would happen. Where in the Farm Bills is talking about abolishing APMCs, right? Farm Bills are only talking about widening the choice set for farmers. They're not talking about abolishing APMCs at all. Like, farmers have a choice to give at APMCs or to some other place. So I don't see a issue there.
So, no, the first bill, which is the producers and the trade bill, it will lead to dismantling of the entire APMC system, because now the corporate houses are going to invest, which will lead to the mandi system, which we call. It will dismantle it, and there is people like the farmers are not going to approach the APMC anymore, and it will be of no use.
Okay, but that's a choice that farmers are making, right? Like, if they are making, like you have an agency as a farmer, right? You are representing farmer, right? You have an agency and you get to make a choice.
Yeah, so sir, it is, no, I feel like somewhat it's not a choice. It's just left in the middle, like where according to the bill, it's like the unsaid things. So according to the, nowhere it's mentioned that the MSP is going to be dismantled or the APMC is going to be dismantled. But from the bill, when you like read it through, you can just make out that the APMC, there's no role of it anymore.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Yeah, T12, Monisha and Amshavini. Yeah, you were representing the other side. Like, probably as ma'am was asking, like these bills have been challenged before the Supreme Court. like the same question, like what do you think is the constitutional validity of these bills? Do you think would stand the test of probably whether it is constitutional or not?
It is constitutional only, sir. If there any dispute arises between this business, they will go to Supreme. I think so. Wait, subdivisional magistrate.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you,
Go
sir.
ahead. We'll move to the next team.
Thank you, T3 and T12. We'll move
Thank
on
you,
to the
ma'am.
next
Thank you,
round.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. T4 and T1, are you in the call?
Yes, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. You're T1, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
T4?
Am I audible now?
Yes, you're audible. Can you come on video, please?
Am I, ma'am?
Yes.
My video is already.
T4, you are on the farmer side, so your time starts now.
Okay. First of all, happy Republic Day to everyone present here. Greetings of the day. Today, I, Shruti Mishra,
And I, Jyotsna Agrawal.
are here to present our views on the hot and burning topic of Farm Bill passed by the present government. Since 1947, farmers were lending money from zamindars and money lenders. The interest rate was so high that they were unable to repay the debt. So, as a result, the lender asked for the produce, and then again the farmer needed money, and in return they lend them, and farmer again in return give their produce, and this cycle continued to be the same. There was much exploitation of the farmer in this type of cycle. Only politicians and now talking about the like as we all know that without food there is without farmer there is no food, and as according to the APMC Act, they can't sell their produce directly to the consumer or in the market, but through the mandi run by the respective state government. They can only sell in that specific mandi. Now talking about the trade license of the traders, only politicians and the one who are close with the state government can become trader, and they can only get the license. Because of the because of the middlemen, consumers get that product in the inflated price, and farmer get the low income of that costly produce. APMC Act exploit farmer due to cartel formation, and the corporate sector form the cartels and decide a price in which they all buy that produce from the farmer. There should be reform in MSP. It is creating a monopoly and it is not providing a fair competition. Now, by referring to the seventh schedule of the Indian Constitution, which talks about the three lists, that is state list, union list, state list, and concurrent list. First of all the agriculture come in the state list of entry 14, and the states are only bound to make laws upon it. And as according to the strict divisions, center can't make law in their jurisdiction, but they can make law which is in the national interest of the people under entry 33 of the concurrent list. But according to us, we don't find the same because it's exploiting the farmer of our nation. And now we'll take the example of the state Punjab. For example, we all know that there are two types of state, rich and poor, and every state needs some fund to develop their state. Now, for example, we'll take the example like for Punjab government, they give 100 rupees to the center. The center provide it less funds, so the state left with no other option but will acquire funds surely from somewhere to develop the state. And this way, the state charges the maximum rate of tax, which is around 8.85, which cost nearly 1750 crore this year, which is the highest tax. The cost occurred by the Punjab state can be helpful for the state development, but the new farm bill discusses about creating a new ecosystem, a parallel system, but this new system isn't in the control of the state government, it's in the centers, and by which the state development will suffer and will affect the farmers' development too.
Farmer even, as according to Shanta Committee of 2015, only 6% of the farmer are benefited by the MSP. Farmer even don't know about the MSP. Government should give them education on it, otherwise they will get exploited, which is happening now. What MSP is, it's basically a minimum support price. Farmers sell their product in mandis and traders buy these products from here. So there is an auction of the producers. So MSP is the starting price set up by the state government from which the auction will start.
T4, you have 2 minutes left. Thank you.
Now talking about the three farm bills, which is a set of agricultural reforms passed by the Rajya Sabha and cleared by the President of India. We all are familiar with the protests and agitations of the people, especially of the states of Haryana, Punjab, Maharashtra, etc. Despite their hue and cry, which was concentrated in bills where state government procurement is maximum, the truths and ground realities may well be different for a majority of those involved in agriculture of India. Let us first explain the three bills with their pros and cons to make things crystal clear. The first one is the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Bill 2020. The states will lose revenue as they won't be able to collect mandi fees if farmers sell their produce outside registered APMC markets. What happened? Another question arises is what happened to the commission agents in state if entire farm trade moves out of mandis? It may eventually end up MSP based procurement system. Electronic trading like ENAM uses physical mandi structure. Then what will happen to the ENAM if mandis are destroyed in absence of trading? Now let's discuss about the second bill, that is Bill on Contract Farming, the Farmer Empowerment and Protection Agreement of Price Assurance and Farm Services Bill, that is 2020. Let us come to the disadvantages, which say that farmers in contract farming arrangements will be the weaker players in terms of their ability to negotiate what they need. The sponsors may not like to deal with a multitude of small and marginal farmers because more than half of the Indian population are Indian farmers and they come under the category of small and marginal. And the main issue being private companies, big private companies, exporters, wholesalers, the sponsors will have an edge in dispute between farmers and company. The third and the last bill which needs to be discussed is the
Before your time is up.
Ma'am, just the conclusion. So we would like to conclude our views by saying that everything has its pros and cons. The bill needs to be looked up and discussed again, and some necessary amendments should be made in order to fit in our diverse country. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am, for the extra. Thank you.
Thank you, T4. T1. Yes.
Yes.
Your time starts now.
While the objective of this discourse is to display how the farm bills have positive impact for some sets of the community and a negative impact for some sets of the community, me and my fellow participant would be seeking to elaborate how the farm bills have provided a positive impact not only for the corporations but for the farmers in addition.
The implication of this bill will result in farmers being able to sell in mandis and other places while the ENAM trading method will continue to function in mandis. Additionally, electronic platform trading would increase, which would raise transparency and augment time saving. Next is Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Services Act 2020, which ensures the shifting of the risk of market unpredictability from the farmer to the sponsor, along with access to modern technology. Under contract farming, farmers will have the power to determine the prices for their produce. Farmer producer organizations bring together small farmers and work to enforce a remunerative pricing mechanism for farm produce. After signing the contract, they will not have to seek out traders. They will also have a 3-level local dispute redressal system. The purchase by organized retailer curtails the length of the supply chain, giving better prices to farmers and asking for lower prices from consumers.
Through competition, the farmers would have the capacity to compete among one another, thereby producing innovative methods to improve the efficiency of the produce respectively. Farmers who are quick to adopt such change could adapt to the market demand and would thereby earn a higher revenue. This could be considered as a mutual exchange of value, the farmer receiving a higher revenue and the corporation receiving a larger produce, which is of a better quality.
Lack of the middlemen would mean that the firms could purchase their goods directly from the farmers. This means that they would have the opportunity of paying the same price to the farmers than to the removal of such existing loopholes, which is the objective of the Farmers Bill, which consists of acts such as the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Act 2020, which ensures that it would enable barrier-free inter and intra-state trade.
Also, contract farming by corporates implies that the corporation will have the capacity to provide technology to the farmers to improve their yield. This benefits both the farmer through increased yield and the corporate who can get higher production from suppliers. So the new farmers bill will be a boon for the economy, and any loopholes will be addressed by the experts and the policymakers.
Now, in order to demonstrate the impact of the farm bills on the farmers, we would have to compare it to the conditions in the past, retrospectively. Up until today, the majority of the farmers were always earning a low income, which would have acquired and accumulating debt. The reason could seem superficial, however, one of the causes could be attributed to the good intentions brought forth by the APMC's price regulations. In order to make sure that the farmers receive a higher revenue, the APMC makes sure that the price of various products are in relation to the market's determined price are sometimes higher than it. As is explicit, the higher price leads farmers to increase their supply, leading to a surplus production of their commodities. However, from the consumer side, a higher price means that the buyers would prefer to purchase goods of a lower price, thereby decreasing the demand of the farmers' produce. This means that prices of a commodity increases the supply of the good while simultaneously decreasing the demand of the consumers. This explains why farmers would tend to produce a surplus of crops, while only a fraction of those would be bought by the licensed middlemen, while the remaining would be bought at a loss by the MSP by the government. This loss would eventually accumulate into an inescapable cycle of accumulating debt. This increasing debt would lead farmers to seek for a loan. Loans would be provided to farmers who would have a higher potential of paying the loans back. However, the bankers would tend not to lend loans to those farmers who are having a lower income due to having a higher risk. This situation would prevent the low-income farmers and more vulnerable farmers to pay off the dues.
What deepened this agony was the non-existence of alternate buyers. Other than the middlemen and the government who would buy the produce at the minimal price, otherwise known as monopsony, in order to purchase the produce from the APMC, the middlemen would have to receive a license. This would make those firms with licenses to control the agricultural industry, as it would be relatively harder for newer firms without licenses to enter the agricultural market, resulting in the control of the market. Due to the lack of alternate buyers, the farmers do not have any other means to exchange their products. Hence, in order to make both ends meet, he would have to follow the whims and fancies of his sole buyers, the middlemen, without any choice to resist their only source of their livelihood. Compared to a regular firm which is accountable for all its decisions that it makes, the APMC, being a governmental institution, does not face its risks for any action that it makes. In layman's terms, a firm would go bankrupt for its wrong actions, but a government institution tends to remain risk free. Thus, due to the lack of risk and accountability, the APMC would not be harmed for any of its actions that it makes. This is an implicit way of saying that the middleman can conduct any actions, including favoritism and bribes. A healthy cooperation brought forth by farmers and firms, giving the farmers the freedom and the power to sell what they want and how they want, would allow them to overcome their odds of flight and agony in order to grow their enterprise to new heights. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, T4, your rebuttal time starts now.
Okay, so
first of all, I would like to strongly oppose the point made by my fellow opposition teammates. That is, contract farming by the help of contract farming, it is possible for the farmer to determine the price. Contract farming arrangement will be a weaker player in the term of ability to negotiate what they need in a real sense, because company is powerful enough to make contract one-sided. They have the legal analyst to pick for it. The farmers are not that much educated who will explain terms and conditions to them. Although the price set by the company are fixed, but if in case for example, but if in case the wheat produced at a cost of rupees 10, and the contract has happened that in case it will cost 10 only, whether in case it's declined or raised in the market, its price is raised in the market, it will cost the farmer the same. So, it will be a flaw for the farmer that they can't sell their produce in the cost which is raised by the market.
My, hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Hello.
Yeah, you're audible now.
My question is to my worthy opponents, that is, what will you do to include the majority of the farmers under this bill? Also, I would like to put up a point. Hello?
Yes, go ahead. You're audible.
Hello. I'm really sorry for the network connection. I'm sorry. My first question is, what will you do to include the majority of farmers under this bill? And the second question is, like, what will be the difference if the corporate ones are saying like it is beneficial? Then what is the difference between back British era back then and now the corporate era? Because because the same thing will happen again. Back then in British time, the farmers were being exploited
T4,
by.
T4, your time is up.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. T1, your rebuttal time starts now.
Okay, so first of all, I would like to disagree with the point made by my opponents about contract. And see, the myth is that under contract farming, farmers will be dictated by corporates and the farmer will not be able to fix prices according to their free will. How will small farmers be able to do contract farming? Sponsors will not finance them. So the reality is that under contract farming, farmers will have full power to determine prices for their produce. They will receive a payment within a maximum of 3 days. Now, moving on to as my opponents had mentioned about inequality, I would like to say that inequality has a lot of factors. So blaming the corporates alone seems a little unreasonable because there are a lot of factors which affects the inequality that exists between farmers, and the farmers have a choice always. So they don't really have to be a part of it if they do not want to. And I would also like to mention, okay, actually, I will move on and let Taran speak.
I would like to agree with all of your points. I would like to agree with some of your points before, which you had made in the earlier during your arguments. You had mentioned about how the farmers were being exploited from day one itself, from starting off from the zamindari system onwards to now. And I would agree with that. And we would see the government has noticed that there is an issue that many farmers are undergoing a debt. They are not able to pay. They're defaulting their loans, and in order to for that they can undergo by undergoing this form of competition, they'll be able to innovate, and they'll have the freedom to choose which entrepreneur to which company firm to go, which firm to sell their goods. And secondly, with regard to why contract farmers will find it hard to negotiate with the large businesses, the contract farmers don't have to negotiate with the large businesses. They have a freedom to choose the smaller businesses. They have a freedom to go back to the APMC system.
T1, your time is up. Yes.
So they have a freedom to. Yeah, thank you.
Judges, if you have any questions, you may put forth now.
I'm fine.
Okay. Yeah. So first, it was a really good discussion, both T4 and T1. First, congratulations for that. So my first question is to T1. T4, when they initially started their arguments, they were talking about a point with respect to the state list, the concurrent list, and the center list, the point with respect to the nature of Indian federalism itself. But in none of your arguments, you seem to mention about that. I think that's a very key question with respect to answering whether these bills are constitutional or not. I don't think the Supreme Court had tried to answer that question while they were asked that. But still, what will be your answer to that? Like, is it rightful for the union government to legislate on something like this? Question is to T1. Yeah.
So the question is whether it is constitutional or not.
Yeah. Because they raised up that point, right? You didn't try to take that.
We believe that it is not constitutional. It is constitutional, and then
why?
Why? Sneha, could you answer that?
Sneha, you're muted.
Am I audible?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
I am aware that there have been issues which have been raised regarding whether it's constitutional or not, especially when it comes to the fact that it's the central government that has taken it into its hands to, and it has, it's taking away the right of the state to legislate in these markets and agricultural subjects. But I do think it's constitutional, and I think it's constitutional.
That's not you didn't give me a reason. Yeah.
I think it's okay for the union to take it into its hands, and the union has taken other things into its hands, which I do not want to give an example of because I'm not really aware exactly with the correct information. But I am aware that the union takes up things and the union exists for a reason. So I'm sure that it's not that much of a detrimental factor that the union has taken up such an initiative as such.
Okay.
So that's why I think it's constitutional.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so union can do whatever it wants.
Not exactly whatever it wants, sir, but there are limitations. But I don't think this falls into those limitations.
Okay. Thank you. To T, the T4, Jyotsna and Shruti. With respect to your point about the small farmers and how there would be an unfair thing if they are negotiating with some corporates and all. How do you think? Let's suppose how much time would you take for the farmers to get into a position to negotiate with the corporates? So now the argument goes like farmers are illiterate and all those stuff. But will it ever be a time when there would be some equal position to negotiate with a huge multinational giant?
As in our content, we told that the bill needs some amendments. So first of all, as you already told that half of the farmers are illiterate, and it is the bitter fact of our country. So first of all, there should be some measurements that will educate farmers, and they will know how they will. First of all, they should know what the bill exactly is, because in our country, practically half of the farmers don't even know what is MSP. So first of all, we should educate them. Then after some time, like 2 to 3 years or even 4 years can take, and then the bill should be implemented with amendments.
Jyotsna, you are representing farmer, and farmers themselves are arguing for legalizing MSP, and you yourself said that half of farmers don't know what is MSP itself. So don't you think it's a huge contradiction on your side?
Sir, the farmers, those who are protesting, and the farmer, there are two, small. In India, large numbers of farmers are small and marginal, but the ones who are protesting are large farmers. So there is a difference between both. The reason for the protest of those in the Punjab and Haryana and different, and those who are like which you are talking about, both are different.
Okay. So it is something which is affecting probably some states, some certain kind of farming and not others. Okay, so I think there might be some contradictions in your argument. Probably you should try to be a bit more coherent. Yeah. So thank you both of you, and all the best. I don't think we'll be able to take a counter. So thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thank you. All the best. Next team.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, T4 and T1. Is T7 and T13 on call? Sorry?
T7.
What about T13?
T13 on here.
Yes. If both the teams are here, then we can start. T7, you will be going first. Your time starts now.
Afternoon, Manoj. Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan. This is a popular slogan. You might have heard it multiple times. Nowadays, our media deliberate hide such issues under a carpet. Reality, the government has come up with 3 ordinances related to agriculture.
There are actually 3 bills on agriculture market reforms were passed by Parliament last month. Those bills are aims to change the agriculture produce marketed, sold and stored across the country, were initially issued in the form of ordinance in June, and then they were passed by voice vote in Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha during delayed monsoon session, in despite of vicious opposition protest. Those bills are: first one, the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Bill 2020, which allows farmers to sell harvest outside the notified Agriculture Produce Market Committee (APMC).
T7. Sorry to interrupt, but could you keep your videos on?
Videos are on, right?
No, we can't see your video. Whoever is speaking right now.
Okay.
Yes, it's visible now. Continue. Yeah.
Okay. The Farmers and Employment Protection Agreement on Price and Assurance and the Farm Service Bill 2020 facilitate contract farming and direct marketing. And third one is Essential Commodities Act 2020, deregulates the production, storage and movement of sale and several major foodstuffs including cereals, pulse, edible oils and onions, except in case of extraordinary circumstances.
For more details, we should know about Indian system of agriculture. We will have to go back a bit. When the country got independence, the whole distribution system of agriculture sector was dominated by the moneylenders and the traders in the village. The farmers held no means to sell their products directly in the market. They were dependent on moneylenders and traders. So far, farmers were perpetually in debt, which was not a great system, and government has came up with a way to solve this problem. Hello?
Yes, you're audible. You can continue.
APMC, Agriculture Product Marketing Committee. Alvin? Hello? I think it's range is 1 second, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am, range issues. Agriculture Product Marketing System, Marketing Committee set up special areas in the state and declared them as market areas. In these areas, there are jurisdictions of
Team 7. Delegates from Team 7, are you there? Sir, Team 7 is facing some technical issues. Can we start with the other team, Team 13?
Yes, sir, we can do that.
Team 13, you can go ahead. Your Team 13, are you there? Delegates from Team 13,
Yes, we are here.
your time starts now.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon to one and all. I am Srimita and I'm joined with my partner Neha. Here from corporate side, we are going to stress the importance of Government Farm Bill 2020, which have been opposed by farmers. The bills are as follows: the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Protect Promotion and Facilitation Act 2020, the Farmers Empowerment and Protection of Price Assurance and Farm Services Act 2020, the Essential Commodities Amendment Act 2020.
So no fears about privatization because none of the subsidiaries has purchased any agricultural land directly or indirectly in Punjab, Haryana or anywhere else in India for the purpose of corporate or contract farming and had absolutely no plans to do so.
And the aim of the reform is to help them increase their income. The reforms will open up new market for farmers both in online and offline modes.
So I want to ask you, did the dairy farmer take your animal because you are selling milk to him? No. Has anyone taken your land or property for entering into a contract to sell your fruits and vegetables? Absolutely, it's not no. The country is asking why the freedom enjoyed by dairy farmers is not being provided to small and marginal farmers growing cereals and lentils.
And there is a rumor spreading that MSP will be discontinued or MSP will be vanished. It is not like so. The government offered assurance that the MSP for farm products would continue.
So the new farm laws provides that all dues of the farmers should be cleared within 3 days of procurement, failing which the farmer can lodge a complaint. This was brought after citing the issue of a farmer, Jitan Boji from Dhul in Maharashtra, whose payment for his corn crop was kept pending by traders for 4 months.
And there is a fear among farmers that mandis would close or mandi system hereafter will not follow. But not a single mandi has been shut down in the past 6 months that the laws have been in place.
So there are more benefits for farmers by these acts, such as placing safeguards to ensure that land alienation is not possible via contract farming, will promote barrier-free interstate and intrastate trade, as the farmers are directly dealing with the wholesalers and large retailers. Both they are satisfied with a better settlement. So farmers will engage in direct marketing, and thus the intermediates were eliminated. So the cost of marketing will reduce, and the farmers will get a better income.
There will be huge opportunities for farmers in this bill. For example, if any crisis is faced by Rajasthan and Gujarat farmers, the other state farmers will give their products to them through import. It promotes contract farming. Farmers aren't charged any levy or fees if they fail to give the products to the corporate.
and the storage cost for the farmers will be reduced while it is handed over to the corporate.
So, and finally, our farmers in villages can reach global market digitally, and rural opportunities could be promoted by industry bodies around the world. So, if our farm sector gets access to better promotion, then our entire rural economy can reach the peak. Finally, this laws unites people by one nation, one market system. So, thanks.
Thank you.
Sir, Team 7 is not responding, so I think we can move ahead with the questions if you have any.
Okay.
Ma'am, do you have any question?
No, I'm good, thanks.
Okay. To team 13, right? Yeah. So you ended with talking about one nation, one market, right? What do you think are the positives of one nation, one market? Or are there any negatives of one nation, one market if you think it more critically?
Definitely, it will lead to a positive only, sir. It unites all people around the India, because we can sell our commodities to anywhere in the India. So there will be communication with everyone in India. So definitely, it will unite people all over.
Okay. So one nation, one tax. Have you heard about that? One nation, one tax. Are you guys there?
Are we audible?
Yes, you are. But my question was to someone else. I don't know what happened. Probably we'll end at T13. Yeah. We'll call the next team. Bishop, you can go ahead.
Team 5 and Team 14 delegates, are you present? Team 5 and Team 14?
Yes, sir. Team 14 is present.
Team 5? Just a second, sir. Team 5, are you there? So just a second, we are contacting Team 5.
Yes, sure.
So is it okay by the time we contact Team 5, we can move ahead with Team 14?
Yes, we can do that. We can do that. T14 can start.
Team 14, your time starts right now.
Greetings everyone. I am Ms. Ujjwala Havaldar and she is my partner Ms. Samiksha Mahadik and we are representing Team 14 as corporates. We are playing a role of a corporate representing an agri-business farm. So I would first like to clear some myths. Many people think that this corporate world is consists of a group of people who are there to exploit the ordinary people. But I think, or the company thinks, it is wrong. What happens is, yes, of course, it is a group of people, but it is not only consisting of a people who is in formal attire with a tie or a black coat, but it is also includes the farmers, the people who will produce or who will supply us with the raw materials. And hence, it is not only it is about the corporate people, but we also include farmers into corporate world. And this forms a very base for our company that we follow a very simple rule that to go fast, you have to go alone, but to go far, you have to go together. So we strongly believe in the cooperation between the two sectors, that is the corporate sector and the agriculture sectors. We think that without agriculture sector or without farmers, our company is nothing because if the agriculture sector is if the agriculture sector is good, only then we can survive. So we say that we are not the end, but we are the means. Hence, we strongly support the cooperation between the two major sectors, that is the corporate sector and the farmer sector. And recently, the bills or the acts which have passed by the central government have opened the gateway for a better and healthy relationship between the farmer and the producer or and the traders. And hence we are strongly for this bills because it is creating a very healthy competition or healthy relations between the two sectors. To go into detail, we'll take up the first bill, that is the Farmers Trade and Commerce Act. This bill says or aims for creating an ecosystem where both the traders and the sellers have a wide range of area to sell and purchase the goods. To add up to this additional benefit is that Section 6 of this Act says that there will be no taxes levied on interstate or intrastate transactions. To understand this better, we'll take an example. Suppose I have a company of producing ketchup. We need tomatoes, and I am living as a company, I'm living in state A. But as a company, our main aim is to get the best quality of tomatoes. So, the best quality of the tomatoes are grown in the state B. Earlier, the transaction, if we had to import tomatoes from the state B, there were many rules and regulations, there were many taxes imposed on it, and there was middleman also, which had to be faced, and hence there was a loss-loss situation for both of us. But now, as this section frees us from all the the regulations and supports inter and intra-state, I'll be more than happy to contact the farmer of the state B and have a direct contract between us. Through this, our profit margin also increases as there is no middleman and our company is getting the best quality product. And even the farmer will be happy because they will be getting a good price for their commodities. And further, this bill, that is the Farm Trade and Commerce Act, also speaks about e-trading. Many people complain that small and marginal farmers lack the capital to put into transportation to get into, and hence they'll be deprived of making contracts or making relations with big companies. But through e-trading, it becomes very easy for farmers as a company for us to trade and get to meet people from everywhere of the world. This saves time and also it is very easy because I can stay in my state. The company is in particular state. Any farmer who is in very remote region can also through e-trading can also contact any companies or any big firms and this will help him create good connection and network. And this is the reason, as this bill is helping to create a big radar for company to have purchased this produce, and it is also creating a very good radars for farmers to sell their goods. Because today farmers are not only protesting or wishing for a better price, but they're also like expecting for a better market. Speaking about the bill, that is the Farmers Against Farm Service Act. This basically speaks about contract farming. So, and what happens is that this act says that a farmer and a trader must enter into a legal framework of contract, wherein the farmer will produce the good which the seller wants, and the seller will get the best quality of goods which they wish. And hence, it is a very good contract or relation between the both, because both will have a proper satisfaction, as farmers will get his money and the company will get his wished quantity or quality of products.
As we already said, the company's main objective is to focus on the desired performance, and we are assuring a good result of the business. According to the world, the production means.
Your time's over.
Sorry?
Your time is over. 6 minutes are over.
6 minutes are over?
Yes.
Can we just conclude a bit?
I can give you 20 seconds. You can conclude.
Okay, thank you.
I would like to conclude by saying that the farm bills are the dawn for the opportunities to remove the barriers and the tax that are put on the corporate sectors, and saying that we are only money minded. So me and my co-representative on behalf of agribusiness company, we would like to put an offer to the farmers saying that it is your call, that you decide the price of the commodities that you will send, and we will, on behalf of you all, we will just expect the good quality of the commodities, and we can have mutual benefits. And so we are putting an agreement forward to the farmers saying that let us come together, let us together benefit both of them, and let us put a doctor ahead.
Thank you.
Judges, do you have any questions for them?
Do we have the other team? Yes,
No.
we don't have the other team, is it?
No.
Okay. My question to you is, how do you respond to the argument from the farmers that the three farm laws are constitutionally invalid? Right now there's a Supreme Court case going on, which is going to determine whether the laws are passed validly and whether the laws are valid in themselves. What is your argument? What do you think about the validity of the laws?
Ma'am, since we represent a corporate company, we have been taught to make opportunities and to look in positive factors in any situation. So even if the bills are regulated in normal ways, we will still find a solution to it.
Excuse me, ma'am, I would like to add to my co-partner's point that to know that what happens that in India we have, as a federal system, we have three lists, that is state, concurrent and central list. So in Article 249 gives the laws in the subject which are there in state list, because it states that when it is in national interest, not national interest, central can take up the right to frame laws. It does not matter that if those things are written in state, but according to Article 249, center can take up the policies, and when it is in national interest, central can make laws. So I think it is very valid that the bills have been passed. There is no unconstitutional as such.
Okay, I'm done. Does the court judge have any questions?
No, not much questions. Just that probably. How do you like from the corporate side? How do you defend, especially when many people arguing from farmers side have said that there are chances that farmers might be getting exploited, especially while negotiating with I don't know, large multinational giants and stuff like that. How do you think that unfair treatment can be avoided?
Sir, since the second bill talks about that the farmers can implement an agreement with we need an agreement. There can be no superior or inferior. If there is an agreement, there will be partnership. And in partnership in business, there is profit is being shared equally. If there's loss, they'll be shared equally.
So I would like to say that here the farmers are not slaves. We are not treating them as slaves. We are treating them as partners. And when it comes to negotiation, I think farmers have the capacity to negotiate with a corporation. It's just a myth that everybody thinks that corporate people are some monsters or something like that, and they're scared of it. But in reality, it is not that way, because when a corporate company comes to you for a trade, they will be having the open mind that they will be coming in this mind that the farmer should be satisfied, because as a company we will be needing the raw materials frequently, and if we make the farmers very unsatisfied, we'll be lagged with a good product. So here the negotiation takes place, and of course, as my partner said, there is a valid contract. There is no such as slavery, and I think that farmers should not be scared of this word of corporate. We are not anything more than them. It is that we are equal to them, and they can have a better profit margin if they cooperate with us.
Yes, also I feel that now after the bills have been introduced, the exploitation will reduce drastically, and the farmers will now be in direct contact with the firms. So they will have the equal opportunity to put forth their arguments also, and I don't think they'll be exploited anymore.
And even that what happens when there was APMCs, there were middlemen. And these middlemen or these agents were mainly collected to politicians, because not a normal man can take a license and enter into mandis. So this is mainly connected into big politicians, or there was a Gunda Raj. If people could negotiate with them, it is much easy to negotiate with corporate people, as they know the rules and regulations, and the contract will be made as such that it is going to benefit. And if there's something happens as the contract is there, they can go to the subdivision magistrate.
Thank you both Ujjwala and Samiksha. Yeah, all the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Judges, with that, we come to an end for the event. Would you like to say anything regarding the event and to the participants?
I just have very, very brief comments. First of all, happy Republic Day. I'm glad that all of you all have taken time out of a holiday to engage in a very important exercise, thinking about formulas and thinking about thinking deeply about what was going on with farm law. So I'd like to first of all congratulate, and I'm happy to see all of you here. Just a very, very brief, I don't want to eat into your holiday, very, very brief comments. There were some really great points. There was some really great level of discourse. But I just want you all to keep a couple of things in mind. Firstly, I hope that rather than taking on such a huge, such a topic with such huge breadth, rather than taking every aspect of it, I wished each team focused on 2 or 3 key issues and dealt with it with great depth. So I saw that some of the arguments, even though they were fleshed out, I wish it was fleshed out in more depth. So I want you all to keep in mind to take an issue and then delve into it more deeply. Be confident in whatever you say, and if we ask questions based on whatever you say, you should be in a position to answer. So that's something that I thought lacked a bit. there were some references to some laws, some articles, some people, some theories, but I don't think that most of you were in a position to answer more pointed questions. So that's one comment. The other comment that I had was, as someone who works on constitutional law and constitutional law issues, I wish that there was a little more reference to the constitution and the constitutional angle of it, the constitutional aspect of it. On especially on the especially people who were arguing on behalf of farmers. You have a lot of material there. You could. I mean, I think one of the teams touched on it very briefly. Spoke about federalism aspect. Spoke about concurrent list, state list. But I wish there was also another sort of like constitutional argument about fundamental rights, about whether the farm laws anyway infringe the farmers' fundamental rights, be it their freedom to trade, etc. And also, I think in the larger scheme of the farmers' protest that's going on, some sort of an argument based on fraternity, equality. I'm just giving some ideas that you can probably think about and then see if you can flesh it out better. I'm going to stop speaking now, and I'm going to congratulate once again for all of you for taking your time and preparing and being here, and also for a really interesting discourse. Thank you.
Yes, so from my side, I think Happy Republic Day, everyone. And I don't know whether everyone is here. I think many of you have left, but still, for those who are here, glad that all of you took the initiative to participate in this, and you got to at least read and probably understand many of the things that are happening today. Yeah, I think not just Republic Day, we are having, along with the Republic Day parade, we are also having the farmers having a tractor rally. I think it's right that we are having a discussion on something very serious today. Okay, coming to the argument that you made, I think most of you did a good job. Just that many times I felt that you guys were not speaking to each other. You were just like, you came prepared with a lot of things and you just read out, or probably you just read out whatever you have prepared. I'm not talking about every team, but some of them didn't try to respond to the other team. It was not a conversation. I guess it was basically like a two team speak, like the speeches kind of stuff. But I think you can improve on that. Other than that, as ma'am was telling about the referencing, so many times no references, no sourcing, nothing was there. And the constitutional stuff, most of you didn't speak of it except I guess one or two teams. Yeah, except them, I think no one spoke about that. So that aspect is there. Then with respect to, I think most of your analysis were economic, like mostly from a economics perspective or a financial perspective. I think a bit more sociological or a bit more that sort of perspective can also be brought in, like the kind of farm holdings which are there, the small farm holdings and all, the caste equations involved there, probably some gender equation involved there. So probably multiple perspectives instead of just focusing on a completely economic or data-driven kind of thing could have made the your argument a bit more strong and sound and richer. Yeah, I guess that's it. Yeah, that's it from my side. I guess they will announce the results in some time, and all the best again. Yeah. So thank you. Over to the.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any participant willing to share their experience with us today? Would any participant like to share their experience with us?
Yes, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. We are so grateful to participate. Yeah, we are so grateful to participate in this event, which was viral. And there is a live update that there is a protest for farmers through this tractors and other things, and many farmers and police officers has been died. Just check out the news today. Now, yeah, thank you.
Anyone else would like to speak?
Yes, ma'am. Team number 15, we would like to speak.
Yes.
We're audible, right?
Yes.
Okay, so as my teammate and I, we are BBA students, and this was very much related to law. So we actually just wanted to learn and know more about the protests going on, and we didn't really have much of knowledge. So it was a very knowledgeable experience for
Yeah,
us.
it was an interactive session. We really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
If anyone has anything to say, they may go ahead. We'll get back to you soon. Stay in the meeting, please. Thank you. Kritika ma'am, would you like to share your view on the bill? A few words on the bill right now.
So it's no longer bill. It's all the three bills.
Yes, they're acts.
Yeah, passed as acts. No, I would like to just basically say that, I mean, I've been tracking it from the court's perspective. So I think my expertise is not in economic analysis of what the acts have in store for us, but rather a more legal sort of an approach. So nothing. I mean, it's quite interesting. I would like to speak about the protesters. I mean, I think that the case has come up before the Supreme Court thrice or four times since December, since several petitions were filed. So just to give a bit of history, all the three laws were passed as ordinance in September, and then it was passed as acts by the Parliament. And as soon as it was all the three bills were passed as acts, several petitions were filed before the Supreme Court challenging its constitutionality, along with several petitions which were filed, which sort of suspected that these three laws are not constitutionally valid. So a couple of petitions were filed before the court, asking for the court to stop the farmers from protesting. And these petitions basically claim that farmers' use of public space, especially in the context of NCR Delhi, basically violated the fundamental rights of the residents. Basically, they said that they couldn't use roads, they couldn't use public roads, and there was a lot of blockade, because of which the residents were put in a lot. So this was not, fortunately or unfortunately, did not there's a strong argument. They refused to kind of pass any orders, uh, which uh, which refrained the farmers from exercising their right to assemble peacefully and protest. And over and again in the past three, four hearings, the center, the Delhi police, they've been asking the court to in fact give a restraining order to farmers, because they kept on telling the court that farmers are planning to come to Delhi on Republic Day. They're planning to come. They're planning to, put up a large track of protest. So they asked the court to kind of give a restraining order, saying that we want you to give an order saying disallowing farmers to do it. But the court again said this is something that we cannot interfere with. If all farmers have the right to exercise their fundamental right to assemble peacefully and also freely express. And if it becomes a law and order issue, if it becomes chaotic, then the executive, which is the police, has the prerogative or the right to kind of respond to a situation, right? So so that's where that's where we're at. The Supreme Court did not kind of interfere in the protest issue, and that's why we see protesters entering Delhi today, and we see, I think the live updates are quite worrisome. I think the Delhi police have started responding to the situation. I think tear gas is being used. I think the protesters are being lathi charged. So let's hope and pray that we come out of this day without any damage to human lives.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for your take on the acts. Others, there's the participants. There's been a feedback form which has been sent on the WhatsApp group. If you could fill it and send it to us as soon as possible, it would be really great. And if anyone else has anything to add on to, you may do so.
Organizers, could you please? Organizers, could you please turn on your videos as well as the participants?
I think the results are with me. Should I go and announce it?
Ma'am, I think all the participants are busy filling the feedback form. So once everyone will join and turn their videos, we can immediately declare the result.
Sure. Just let me know, ma'am.
Sure. We're just waiting for all the participants to turn on their videos and the organizers so that we can, we can declare the result. Everyone are gladly waiting for it.
Can all of you switch on your videos because we're running out of time? Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. I think now we can go ahead.
So as an announced, I request the team to just come in and just wave. Yeah. So the third prize goes to Team T1. May we have Team T1? Yeah.
Team 1, you can raise your hands. There's a raise hand option over there.
Yes. Can we see you? No. Have you switched on your? Yeah.
They have done.
Okay. Congratulations. So moving on, the second prize goes to Team T4. Do we have T4 here? Yes, we have Team 4. And the first prize goes to Team T6. Is T6 here? I can't see them. Can you see them, ma'am? Okay, maybe yeah, I don't think they're here. Okay, congratulations, everybody. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Now, congratulations, winners. Firstly, secondly, now I would like Akash, my co-convener, to give the official vote of thanks.
Very warm afternoon to all. Firstly, I would like to extend my hearty congratulations to the winners and bigger wishes to all the participants who stepped out of their comfort zone and decided to participate in this event. Congratulations, guys. Once a wise man said, being thankful and not expressing it is like wrapping a present but not gifting it. So I'm Akash Narayan and I'm here to extend my thanks to each and every one of you who made this event happen today. Firstly, I would like to thank our director, Father Praveen Raj, our principal, Ms. Pratima Prabhakar, our vice principal, Ms. Pauline Priya, and the faculty of management of St. Joseph's College of Law. Right from the beginning, you have been our backbone and our support. I would like to thank Ms. Lindsay Joykuti, faculty coordinator of the Entrepreneurship Development Cell. You stood with us through thick and thin, and you are a great source of motivation to all of us now. My heartfelt thanks to the judges of this event, Ms. Kritika R. and Mr. Gio Varghese. Your valuable feedback, which I'm sure everyone would inculcate, was amazing. And thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, sir. This event would not have been a success without the participants. We loved your responses and each one of you participated with the fullest enthusiasm. Despite some of you being miles away, thank you very much. We wish you all the very best for your future endeavors and hope to see you in future events conducted by St. Joseph's College of Law. I would like to extend my gratitude to the audience who, as a sign of support and enthusiasm, took some time out and spectated the event. Thank you, everyone. Last but definitely not the least, I would like to sincerely thank all the coordinators and volunteers from the Entrepreneurship Development Cell. As it is an online event, it becomes twice the more challenging to plan and conduct the event. But all of you did a wonderful job. Thank you, Sandhya. Thank you, Rishabh. Thank you, Pratyusha. Thank you, Harish, Shreyas, Rahul, Sudeeksha, and Satya Prasad. Thank you so much. For without you, this wouldn't have even close to been possible. All in all, I would like to thank each and every one of you for extending your support in your own way and making this event possible. And I might even call it a success. I can say with full confidence that this event has been a great learning experience for all of us. Thank you, everyone. Best of luck, guys. Have a great day ahead.
Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, participants. It's lunchtime now, so all of you are free to go. Thank you so much.